Hello, good morning, and welcome to another edition of your super morning show. It's called AM Ghana right here on Adoatv Television. Wherever you are watching us from, greetings to you from us, all of us here at Adoatv. We send our warm greetings to you this morning, and we welcome you into the day that the Lord has made. Of course, we should be glad and rejoice in it. It's another day, and that we have a lot more for you. But first, as we always do, we will take you through the dailies and then let you know what the headlines are telling us. And then we will go to take the discussions with our political reps. My name is Samuel Kusiapia. Thanks to you for joining us, and thanks to Sonotech Diagnostics and Medical Center for holding us and supporting us. Thanks to Verna Natural Mineral Water. Thanks to Air Rwanda for flying us safely to our destination, and of course at affordable prices. We are going to take a very quick turn. When we come back, I'm going to take you straight to the newspapers and let you understand what the newspapers are saying this morning. There's a lot we would have to discuss in the newspapers, but before that, I'll let you know the headlines. So stay with me. I'll be back right after this short break.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Well, welcome back. It's AM Ghana here, and thanks for staying with us. Now, I have the daily graphic with me. This is the daily graphic for ITFT today. Truth and accuracy every day. Thursday, October 28, 2021. STC faces financial crisis. STC faces financial crisis, loses 50 million Ghana cedis to COVID-19. And appeals for urgent bailout. 50 million. Wow. AFDB grants $75 million loan to GIIF facility to finance project. Now, coordinated efforts needed to combat climate change. The Chebi Declaration stories here on the page 16. Stay off KNUST lands or face my wrath. Stay off KNUST lands or face my wrath. Asante Hene 24 Osetutu is warning that stay off the KNUST lands or you face his wrath. Well, Let's try and get more stories in the daily graphic. And inside Africa, sub-Saharan Africa to see economic recovery, and Kenyans shun voter registration exercise. Okay, well, still on the international or the global front, EU climate chief urges leaders to attend COP26, and Israel moves ahead with plans for 3,000 settler homes. Cambridge College returns looted bronze to Nigeria anyway. Now the special focus is on the Magdan Foundation, and Magdan Foundation builds school block for END. Okay, thanks to Magdan Foundation for putting up a school block. Gender is here, and NGO calls on Parliament to ratify ILO Convention 190. Don't divorce wives with breast cancer. Hey! Don't divorce wives with breast cancer. Dr. Wiafe advises husbands. Dear husbands, don't divorce wives with breast cancer. Thank you for listening. Now, the president presents vehicles to armed forces. President presents vehicles to armed forces. Cut sword for housing project. President presents vehicles to armed forces. Cut sword for housing project. And DVLA completes phase 2 digitalization project. DVLA completes phase 2 digitalization project. And some more stories here in the daily graphic. And use strategic stocks to reduce high fuel prices. Former Minister of Finance, Mr. Seth Tekpe, is perhaps advising the current Minister of Finance and the current government that use strategic stocks to reduce high fuel prices. The strategic stock scheme helped to stabilize fuel prices through 2016 when petrol queues stopped forming, despite modest price increases and price liberalization. So, Mr. Seth Tekpe, the former finance minister, has some words for the current government and the current finance minister. Says, use strategic stocks to reduce high fuel prices. I hope the finance minister buys the daily graphic today and read and see this advice from the former finance minister, so that high fuel prices will reduce. I do not know how the strategic stock will be used to reduce the high fuel prices, but I think it's an advice that we all have to encourage the current government and the economic management team to consider. And he says in 2016 it was used to reduce high fuel prices. So please, the fuel prices, they kill us. Thank you very much for listening, Mr. Finance Minister. Thank you. Okay. So SMEs asked to leverage commerce platforms to reach wider markets. We have heard. And let me see what I have here. A lot of commercials in here. Help us settle judgment debt. UG Vice Chancellor appeals to President. Mr. President, I would like to make an appeal to your government to deliver us from this rogue that hinders our growth and effort to be truly world class. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Bapianfo. This one, she came just some few weeks ago. She was there as the acting, and then she was just Mrs. Stuff, and she says we should come and pay judgment debt for her.
Yeah, the government owes a lot in several sectors. Well over.
But she says judgment debt, so they have been. I mean, it's their
Is there a headache now, eh?
yeah. I mean,
Well, let's see.
anyway, all right. So let me quickly finish with the daily graphics so that Reginald can also come in with the papers he has. Reclassify licenses or forget government bids, Roads Minister. You. And then quickly in sports, NSAU has to organize post-Olympics Games conference. Over 200 participants are expected to benefit from a maiden scientific conference on the post-Olympic Games at the University of Health and Allied Sciences campus in Ho next Thursday. You. Tennis, Army Mess Battle Ho Club at Sugahope. And Queen's Baton Relay ends in Kumasi. There's a picture of when it started with the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in Accra, and now has ended in Kumasi with the Otunfo Osei-Tutu receiving the Queen's Baton from Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah at the Menchia Palace yesterday. That is it for sports. At the back page, graphic, Uracare hold breast screening exercise. And 2 robbers die in gun battle with the police. 2 robbers die in gun battle with the police. That's it for the daily graphic, and that's it for that's it for the daily graphic. Good morning, Reg.
Good morning, Sam. I'm doing very well. Kindly pass me the daily guide. Let me peep into some of the interesting stories that I found in it whilst monitoring other newspapers. Wow. A very good morning to our cherished viewers, and many thanks to you, Sam, having taken the lead with the daily graphic. Oh, it says here, Dr. Ajay donates maternity block to KNUST. Dr. Ajay donates maternity block to KNUST. And the story is on page 6 of the daily guide. Well, I don't know if this is to encourage students to continuously reproduce, but we know that at the tertiary level, yeah, we have all sorts of persons over there, and we have even married women in there who at a time do conceive and do have to deliver. So this is quite a good one. And I believe that there is a hospital in there as well that serves the public, and so, well, it's a good one there. We need more maternity blocks to reduce the maternal mortality rates in the country. Ordinihu shakes NPP Ashanti confab. See the story on page 13 of the daily guide and elsewhere. So this is the interesting one that I saw. Shatawali and medical undergo spiritual cleansing. Interesting. Shatawali and medical undergo spiritual cleansing. I don't know what the spiritual cleansing is about, what they are being cleansed of, but obviously a picture of the 2 gentlemen at a beach washing off whatever needs to be cleansed. And so we hope that they come out clean and without any speck. On page 6 again, Baumia to speak on digital economy. Baumia to speak on digital economy. Well, I hope that comes up soon, and we're hoping to hear and see more of digitalization of the economy. Now, on the front page, the big story here, 217 million Ghana cedi financial loss. Attorney General defends Opuni ruling. Stories on page 3 of the daily guide. Now, let me quickly peep and see if I can steal something out of the internals of the daily guide paper. Interesting one. That's why you should grab a copy of the daily guide and find out the details. So we have an image of someone. I don't know. I cannot assume that this image is somebody I know. It looks very familiar, and as to how familiar, you should get a copy and find out for yourself. So we see 1 million votes, 1 million votes, and not necessarily 1 million Ghana cedi votes, pressed down, running over, shaking together. Also, we have this caricature actually carrying some boxes that appear to look like the ballot boxes that we know, and the inscription on the ballot boxes, or the supposed ballot boxes here, is E.CEE. If you would want to pronounce it, you will say EC, EC. And there is an arrow or a signal directing to the police headquarters. Police headquarters. Well, now that gives more vehicles to military, and we're hoping that we will see the military being strengthened
Ray,
and more.
Over the past few days, I have heard a lot of comments about. In fact, the EC even held a press conference last week. And
Yes.
asked that the police, or the CID, investigates the ballot stuffing, the over 1 million ballot stuffing that was allegedly
Yes.
made mention of by the former president, John Dramani Mahama. I think I saw a post on Facebook, I think either My Joy or CTF Online. I've forgotten the portal that posted the news item. That the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC as well was also commenting on same. I went to read a lot of comments on that. And I was asking myself so many questions that, truly, if it is not alleged, but if truly the NDC found out, or they were aware that some 1 million votes were printed and added to, illegally added to the elections in whatever way, then they have really done Ghana a big disservice.
Why?
Because you went to the Supreme Court. Once you had this, and you knew for a fact that this was, this was bad. This was, I don't even know how to describe it. You simply, alert the appropriate authorities. The police were there.
Certainly.
Report it with the evidence you have, and let the police take action. Because the Electoral Commission has a mandate to deliver to Ghanaians. They are there because of all of us. And we cannot allow them to just behave anyhow. We cannot allow them to be biased, one. We cannot allow them to, skew the elections that all Ghanaians have contributed towards into the favor of somebody that they so wish to
put in power.
To put in power. So if anybody saw anything anywhere, you also had a responsibility as a Ghanaian, a duty as a Ghanaian to also report to the appropriate authority. But they didn't. And then now, after everything is, calm, we are hearing these things. I don't understand why it is coming out now. Because I do not know whether we can even go back to court again or even go to the police, report the Electoral Commission to the police. I think Gransford was watching a video last time. I heard
the audio,
yes,
the voices.
And then it was like, this is 1 million votes that have been in no link. One of the press that printed the ballot, yes, they found it there, and this didn't look like sports papers. When we print, we have some terms that we use in the printing. There's some scormings, and the papers that we print that has scormings, we normally don't, we just discard them. From the description the gentleman was giving, these were not papers that were going to be thrown away or that were going to be bent because they were sport. No, these were papers that were ready and were going. All these things. And I was asking myself, well, I do not know. Perhaps all what they are saying are still at the alleging stage. But if there was any concrete evidence, why did the NDC sit on it and not produce it in court?
Well, so it's one thing that the NDC would pronounce that they have found these discrepancies in the electoral process or whatsoever, and it's another thing also to prove to the latter that indeed whatever they found was even before, or that elements of the same prints were found in the ballots as well. I think that it's a whole it's a mirage of, issues here and there, and it's going to take a lot of time, certainly, because of the diciness of the matter, to come to a conclusion. But indeed, if the NDC knew about this all this while, like you've said, why haven't they come forth up until now? But then, obviously, in every democratic dispensation, you have the right to voice out when you think that you have found something that may especially go contrary to the dissemination or dispensation of democracy. In the meantime, the law courts are there, and it's simple. The basis is simple. Whoever alleges must establish. And in the recent electoral, the court case, the EC versus the
The NDC
the
versus the
NDC,
EC and
yeah,
the
exactly. We learned certain things, all right. We learned certain terms like the burden of proof, amongst other things. So I mean, once you file for some of these things, you just need to present your proof and present it properly. At the end of the day, we have a court of jurisdiction that would rule and indeed look into these matters. So for me, uh, I think that the NDC as a party has been in power before. You know the processes. So if you believe that you have a genuine case, just present it to the appropriate authority. I believe that the CID has also been called to investigate.
For me,
This very
I like the fact that the EC also put itself out there that,
exactly.
I mean, let's investigate this. And there are other sides to the story, but then let's investigate this if it's really a serious issue, like how we have been made to believe.
Certainly.
We should really do that, because we cannot. Then we can't even trust the EC again going forward. I mean, organizing elections again, because we know that at the end of the day, the EC would choose who they want to be in power and not what the people.
Well,
have.
whether we trust the EC or not, I'm saying, let this be presented to the courts,
Yes,
or the CID.
yes,
Let them do their
yes.
work, and then once their verdict or their final pronouncement will come out as to how true this claim is, then we'll decide whether we can trust the EC or not. But far as I'm concerned, court cases and court processes and everything has established some level of credibility for the Electoral Commission, far as I'm concerned, currently. And so let's live by that, and then hope that this doesn't come to mar the good works of the Electoral Commission. Now, let's look at the back page of the daily guide. GFA begs FIFA for fairness in Ethiopia, Ghana game in South Africa. Elsewhere, Pochettino still Man U #1 target. I prefer another player to Hazard. And last but not the least, Bayern star avoids jail for defying court order. And we're talking about Lucas Hernandez. And that's the sum for the daily guide. Grab a copy for yourself and read further into some of the stories that are in there.
The Daily Statesman is next. A new UGVC seeks president's help to clear debt. Help sustain our peace. President charges military. Kufuor yesterday presented 60 vehicles to the army. We need unity to break the 8, Ashanti Regional Minister tells the MPP. And Baumia speaks on digital economy next week. Kufuor lauds Ochehine's efforts on climate change, and Osafo Mafo advocates tackling of conflict in Africa. Well, secondly, Takrady women weep over Joanna Crass imprisonment. So this is in relation with the women in secondary Takrady who went to court. Okay, so
The false news propagators.
So Joanna Kra could not help. I mean, when so 6 years jail sentence was imposed on her for spreading false alarm and deceiving public officers. What is with Takrady and kidnap?
Well, Takrady, and with the discovery of oil and all that in the region, I think has made the region a viable place for especially foreigners to come in. And so one of those fears that is emanating from that side, with the kidnapping of the German ladies somewhere, not in the Western region. This sparked some concerns. But as to why kidnapping, I think later, I mean, after the three missing girls issues came up, I think kidnapping came to the light in the Western region. And I think it has become a sensitive issue now. And looking at the nature and the manner in which the missing girls issue was dealt with, people like this very lady, for instance, perhaps may want to take advantage of the sensitivity of the issue and make people throw some sympathy on them. But I think they should learn that for most cases, once people are beaten, they are twice shy. And I don't think that the people of Takrady will sit down and let a kidnapping case go scot-free like that.
It says here, Joanna Krat, 29, faked her kidnapping by conspiring with two other accomplices.
Certainly, and she also
to
took some money
demand
from
5,000
which was given by the member of parliament.
from her godfather,
Yes.
who reported the case to the police. Sensing danger, she came out of her hideout and reported herself to the police that the kidnapping story was a mere joke on her godfather.
How? Mere joke, how?
This one to the minister went to pay again.
I think yes. The minister went ahead to pay some amount of money, and it has
in
gone
the earlier
round
in the earlier case,
yes,
he went to pay again.
Exactly.
He went there to pay again.
Exactly. It goes round and round and round.
You see how the reason why he got angry the last time.
Exactly. I mean, you don't take these things.
Exactly. You don't just put the whole city of Takrady into this fear. And I mean, this also has a very, very negative description. It puts a negative image on Takrady.
Exactly.
As investors,
exactly.
People would, I mean, they will hear some of these things, and it will be like, hey, Takrady, if you go there, they will kidnap you.
Certainly.
Right now.
So that was a concern I was raising earlier. That
Right.
Takrady is becoming a destination center for most of these investors. If we don't curb this manner of menace, kidnapping and faking stories amongst whatnot, I think right now it's not just in Takrady. If you take a good look at Shatawale's incidents,
yeah,
for
we are
instance,
actually waiting for what would also be done to him. I mean,
well, as has been granted bail currently, I don't know what else will be done. I think he'll be presenting himself as and when he's needed for further. But I think that Shatawale's case is also synonymous to these kidnapping, because at a point nobody knew his whereabouts. And in cases of having been shot and not being found, then probably those who attempted the shootout may have kidnapped Shatawale at a point. But well, we thank God that he's here. We thank God that these ladies are also not kidnapped. Let's see who else will come out with any fake news in this matter. In the meantime, Sam, let's go on with the newspapers.
Tama police arraigned 29 persons for assaulting police officers. And of course, women urged to seek early treatment for breast cancer. Now, let's quickly move to some sports news. And Ghana winger Kamaldeen Suleiman rated behind only Salah and ahead of Benzema in most informed players. And Black History Month, Lutalo Mohammed, why I am proud to be black and British. Champions League reviews huge gap between North and the rest of African clubs. That's it for the Daily Statesman.
Now let's look into the New Crusading Guide. Napo amongst Africa's top 25 energy shakers. Stories from page 7 of the New Crusading Guide. Land guards on a rampage at Joma. Residents blame Anya Odoko police for shielding Nuruddin and team. I think that the land guardism menace in Ghana is one of those things that I think that the IGP, Dr. Dampare, should take a look at. Land guards have it's like a lot of violence on people over land disputes, amongst other things, and it seems that nobody is able to deal with them. But I believe that Dr. Dampari will show them their level. Because right now, almost everybody knows their level. If you screech by the roadside or on our roads, you will know your level. If you fake your kidnapping, you will know your level. If you fake your shooting, you will know your level. If you're a landguard and you are dealing with people, in fact, landguardism is not any legal occupation in the country. And so very soon, I believe that you will also know your level. Because me, as I sit here right now, I know my level. Dr. Frank Iwa J donates maternity block extension to KNUST. And another story here, MCD and CSA empower women in ICT. Akufo-Addo equips Ghana Army with 50 vehicles and cuts sword for a $24.8 million housing project. And that's for the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Let's delve inside. Let's see what's in here. Well, okay, so continuation of the stories from the front page on page 3. And Ghana Venture Capital launched in Accra. Some Inside Africa stories. Second Biennial Sculpture Fair opens in Ouagadougou. Sudanese doctors treat wounded protesters as anti-coup marches spread. Soldier recognizes fights in the assassination of Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. Well. Let's go to the center spread. Chirabusum backs IGP, says presenting evidence to back up prophecies is a right call. Presenting evidence to back prophecies is a right call. Well, let me know what you think, as the IGP also has indicated that very soon pastors who make public prophecies, especially pronouncements on the lives of individuals, would have to answer to the law. Let me know what you think on this one. We're streaming live on Facebook. It's Adoatv GH. You can also send us a WhatsApp message. Do you think that pastors should be regulated in terms of their prophecies? The law and spirituality. I don't know how this is going to work. Share your thoughts and your comments with me. Now let's go to the back page, the penultimate one of the New Crusading Guide. Sports Crusade. GFA appeals to FIFA to ensure fairness in Ghana versus Ethiopia 2022 World Cup qualifier game. Another story here. Amnesty International urges David Beckham to use Qatar 2022 role to advocate for human rights. And what kind of human rights should be advocated for here? Well, grab a copy of the New Crusading Guide and read into the story. Semi-automated offside systems set to be used as the World Cup in Qatar. So you wouldn't need the full assistance of the lines or sides persons to determine an offside in a match, but they're going to use semi-automated machines to determine this. Let's move away from the New Crusading Guide and look at the Ghanaian Times, the most authoritative newspaper. Magdan Foundation inaugurates ultra-modern school and share factory for Yendi community. The story is on page 18 of the Ghanaian Times. Stop indiscriminate sale of land marked for community development in Greater Accra, says an industrialist. Stop indiscriminate sale of land marked for community development in Greater Accra. Read the story on page 7 of the Ghanaian Times. Now another story here, junkies, okay, security and health threats. Security and health threat. Junkies and mental patients occupy Accra streets. And this one here it's not a new story. This is a country where um, I mean anything goes. So whether you like it or not, these people they will occupy the roads. People will do as they please. The public has expressed concern about junkies and others with mental health challenges roaming the streets of Accra, the nation capital. They have therefore called for their evacuation and confinement at the appropriate places like psychiatric hospitals. And in case you didn't know, Ghana is very, very, very much lacking when it comes to psychiatric hospitals. We visited the psychiatric hospitals on several locations, and the most concern is infrastructure again. And it will surprise you that the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, ever since its inception and its construction, has been totally neglected to a greater and far extent by the government. And I'm wondering the position of government in dealing with people with psychiatric issues, people with mental health issues. So you go on the streets of Accra and just around the psychiatric hospital that is supposed to house these people with mental illness, you rather find them walking about on the streets and ironically very close to the psychiatric hospital. So I don't know if the entire area is a psychiatric area or perhaps there should be an edifice that houses these people. We don't take mental health seriously as a country, and this has been announced severally by several health practitioners. We've spoken to Nurse Tracy. She's told us how much we neglect our mental health, and people go through several forms of issues, and no wonder we're a country where suicide is just on the rampage. Also, they have therefore called for their evacuation and confinement at the appropriate places like the psychiatric hospitals. Their concerns stem, for instance, from the fact that the junkies have taken over some pavements and streets in the Accra metropolis, causing nuisance to the commuting public and posing a security threat. These people, both young and old, use cardboard, papers, and filthy clothes as mats to sleep wherever they would choose, such as pavements and by the streets. The members of the public complained. So we've taken some neglect to this very concern, and by the time we will open our eyes to this, it has become well overwhelming. So sad how we get used to the wrong things in society, such that when somebody comes out to correct them, he becomes rather the problem, the nuisance. We forget to deal with the nuisance, but rather want to deal with the person who wants to deal with the nuisance. What kind of people are we? Back page of the Ghanaian Times, most authoritative newspaper. Ministry moves to clear Dev's old road foundation. Now, another story here. 10,000 residents of Adoatv municipality risk being displaced. Why do they risk being displaced? Well, about 10,000 people living downstream the Fulani and Animal Research dams in the Adoatv municipality of the Greater Accra region risk being displaced if urgent steps are not taken to rehabilitate the dams. The dams burst their banks following last Thursday's downpour that resulted in flooding of homes and clearing items along its way. During the heavy rains, residents who were affected fled their homes while others looked on helplessly as their items were swept away by the flood. And the rain is here. I mean, the raining season. I don't know if October is considered as one of those indigenous raining seasons, but whether you like it or not, the rains are here, and it's sad. it's sad. I don't know what ritual has been performed on the wager barrier all the way to SCC Road. I don't know what ritual has been performed over there such that anytime it rains, half of the road now is no longer half. In fact, there are whole oncoming traffic from Kaswa towards Accra. I don't know what has happened over there, but anytime it rains, the road gets taken over by mud, and vehicles cannot ply the road. It is affecting productivity and especially causing so much traffic on that stretch. We have said over and over, but now I have realized that the member of parliament for Botiano English Amanfrom, Honorable Sylvester Tete, and Fawo, it's like you don't even bother, you don't care. I don't see, I've never realized a point where, Honorable, you have reached the people and have had a conversation with them on how best we can see to sorting these problems. There are several shops on that stretch. There are several organizations on that stretch. And when it becomes so, people don't even frequent these shops. Now, people's businesses are dying. The rings are here. Honorable Sylvester, good morning to you once again. The people of Botiano, English, and Manfrom constituency are calling on you. They are saying that you should come and help them. They are saying that you should come and save their businesses. They are saying that you should come and help ease the traffic on the road because in that part of your constituency, nothing is being done. Honorable, you agree that at some points the gutters have been desilted, but anytime it rains, the same silt comes back to settle in the gutter. So I want to ask you, if your predecessor, Alaji, was doing the same thing, and you come to promise to do something different, and this is the difference that you bring, what's the end result? Good morning to you once again. And the people of Botiano English and Manfrom constituency are saying that good morning to you. That's it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Also, with regards to the recruitment to the services that is happening currently, and people are genuinely concerned about some of the disqualification conditions. One being height, and the height restrictions there. People think that this condition should change, whether it's a rule or whatever. It should change because, in quotes, people are going to be working with their abilities and not necessarily, how do you call it? Someone said not the ability to slap or no, their slapping prowess. And so yesterday I thought it was a huge discussion.
Of course,
yeah,
it's something that really needs to be touched on.
Why? I mean, I watched similar videos of people who were disqualified with either height. In fact, I saw some of the conditions, tattoos, PSN. So if you're a lady and you had two, yes, you are disqualified. If you're a guy,
it's surprising. Don't they know about these things before they go in there?
That is another, side of it.
Exactly.
For those who apply, for the fact that you are going to pay a certain 100 Ghana cedis, kindly check some of these things before you. Save yourself from the heartbreak. Yesterday there was a young lady who was crying profusely in Kumasi, begging them to. She was disqualified. I think
was it
one of these things, PSN or something, because she had two earrings or whatever it is. And then,
but these ladies cry. Why do they have the two PSNs?
Human rights will come and look for you. Human rights will come and look for you.
I like it too. I like the PSNs too. Anyways.
But then people are arguing that these things, we should look at it differently. They do not really hinder people's abilities to work.
Exactly. Sam, I am. My friends have started saying that I'm mentioning the essay too much. But Sam, I will, and I will again. I will again. I said when you were there with myself, and you realized that one of those things that we noticed was that almost everybody was dressed in black, and it gave us a topic to discuss about what we make of our colors and how we have made the black color a villain amongst all colors. that is just I mean a preamble to what I really want to touch on. You go around and you realize that hairstyle
Yes.
is never a
A
criteria
criteria for,
for
any form of selection.
any form of selection.
We entered corporate institutions, very, very formal institutions.
Exactly.
And they didn't have, a lot of the people didn't have our conventional hairstyles like what I have here. I mean, they kept whatever hairstyle that they were, but it looks
Only
as
that if you are keeping your dread, it should be neat.
exactly
Whatever
and
you are
decent.
if it's
it
dyed,
should just appear decent.
it
and
should
that's
appear neat. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
And I mean, they had their tattoos on,
Exactly.
and they were serving people with these tattoos.
Exactly.
And I don't know how tattoos affected service delivery to me in any of the points that I frequented.
Yes, of course.
I don't know. I sincerely didn't come
I
across.
mean, these people were
any
working in very, very high
esteemed institutions.
environments.
And so I
they were
want to
working,
find,
they were doing well.
don't you think that it's high time? I mean, you look at the Americas, for instance, you find a lot of soldiers who have their tattoos.
Yes.
Is it really about, I mean, shouldn't we as a country move beyond some of these archaic and judgmental perceptions of people?
You know, recently we had a lot of issues with someone cutting their hair because they wanted to be in school. We had several issues about how people should appear.
Exactly.
I remember there's a popular story when this gentleman was going to do his service. I read a story, I don't know how to read it, about his national service, Kiddy.
Yes.
I think he was originally posted to, I think, a religious organization. I don't know how that.
I heard a story
yeah,
like
and
that.
then when he got there to do his registration, he was told, my friend, if you want to come and do your service here, you have to do away with your hair. We don't care whether you are an entertainer or whatever it is.
I really don't understand. shouldn't these institutions rather be, you know, the institutions to accept people? I mean, regardless color, creed, whatsoever.
So, I mean, here where we find ourselves, of course, culture would be mentioned, but
Yes.
I think it's high time we really consider people's abilities, brain,
But
what they can really
you
do
see,
with their
even in
brain.
culture, even in culture, you see, we have tribal marks. If we so detest tattoos, how do we accept tribal marks?
I mean.
How do we accept tribal
and
marks
we still-
that
we
that
still-
scotch the skin, and we say that is okay?
And we still have communities in Ghana who
Exactly.
still engage in
I'm not
in
advocating for
marking.
tattoos whatsoever. I am advocating that we adopt a change of mind. We adopt our sense. You know, we try to do away with our sensationalism and judgmentalism towards people based on if keeping dreadlock is so much of a crime, then how different is it from keeping a kept hair? I mean, a down cut, because it's also a hairstyle. What if somebody decides to shave it all? Would you penalize a person for not having hair at all?
Unfortunately, we accept some of these.
Why do we accept some
And then
reject some? When women go to work, they put on any form of hair.
Wigs,
It's either rasta, it's a wig, it's what's not.
So I do not really understand that we don't really concentrate on what the people can do. If it doesn't affect the environment, and these people are, I mean, I was going through the comments, I mean, for the discussion. I heard one person wrote that he watched a documentary on CIA, and there was this one short, very smallish woman who was working, and she had been there for so many years. She was very sought after because of what she did for the, or she does for the CIA. Exactly. And once it is impacting the institution positively, getting results for the institution, not, I mean, hindering any form of progress, not putting people's life at risk, not, I mean, we should be considering some of these things. It is not perhaps a general thing. We can't generalize it everywhere. But then, if I have a tattoo and I can still be a good military personnel, a good prisons officer, a good fire service.
I don't know if there's been any.
Someone said the fire service they are disqualifying short people. He doesn't understand. It is the short people that can enter small windows. You are disqualifying them.
Maybe if there's fire on the peak of a building, maybe
Yes.
you'd have to.
It was so funny.
Some of these things do not really make.
I mean,
meaning. They don't make meaning
yesterday
at all.
following, I saw a lot of people, and with the immigration, I think Joy, the Joy correspondent, was interviewing the officers, and he was explaining why they disqualified. And he was like, if you people fill the form and you're supposed to write the exact height in the portion that is provided for you to fill, and if you alter it there, that they do the physical test, so they check, and if you don't meet the requirement, you are disqualified, and the system automatically shuts your applications down. So you are not even able to come back again and come in. But why should I be? So like, I know that, I mean, the kind of, I mean, ideas I have. Let's say I'm technology savvy. Let's say I'm a mechanic. I'm an electrician. I mean, they employ some of these people as well.
Exactly.
Where I know I can really play a very, very major role or important role in the service. And then I'm told because I am short. I mean, if I'm coming to drive or if I'm coming to be a mechanic, an electrician, what do I need my height to come in?
When you come to Ghana, we have an average height size. All right, and usually it's 5'4".
Exactly.
And so I don't know why height also should become. I don't know how height affects mental capacity
that is it.
or physical
That is
capacity. I sincerely do not know. But one major problem I have with the entire recruitment process is the purchase of forms,
which has been spoken about.
Exactly. What are you inciting the people to? These people buy the forms, and then at the end of the day, you ask yourself, are they really going in there to seek for a job, or they are going in there to serve? Because we call them the forces, the security forces, and they are there because they exert some amount of force in keeping the nation on its toes and on its feet. And if they are going in there to serve and you take them money, I sincerely have not seen a cleaner at church who has to pay to the church before he or she cleans because he's serving. I have not seen any person serving in any capacity having to pay before they serve. I don't understand. And so, for me, the recruitment process right from there,
IGF.
internal generated funds. Is that how you want to generate funds? By milking the same people who are unemployed and they want to come and pay to generate, to gainfully be employed? Is it their fault that they decide not to turn themselves into armed robbers, but want to seek genuine employment?
Again, that is the reason why you have a lot of people who do not really have passion for the thing.
Exactly. So I am saying that the mode of recruitment in itself, from that point of sale of forms, is wrong. Now, people just throng in because they want some form of job, wherever it's coming from or whatever it is. So you find people there who are working without passion. Another point, Salasi, I beg you, don't worry, we'll wrap up soon. Another point is that you will get there and then you realize, I mean, why people have to queue for the same position, and this has been a process that has been used from time immemorial.
Yeah.
Now the population has become large, and so what other methods can we use to ensure that, look, sometimes you see people
quick.
Exactly. Sometimes process. when you go to the secondary schools, gone were the days when, I mean, people were recruited from secondary schools to serve in the military. You remember one of the past presidents of the nation, when he was conducting his coup, went to secondary schools to pick up students. Why didn't he recruit people? Because he needed people who would be passionate towards the job, people who would have that cause with him. Go through the secondary schools and you realize people who are serving in cadets, they are not being paid. They are in there. You choose which guild or which group you want to belong to based on your passion. Why are we not leading these people in there? But these same people, they graduate and then later on they have no passion for the forces because it is no longer there.
Now, people are also,
so then what is the essence of those groups that we have in the schools?
People are also calling for government to consider how or the group they employ into the security services. Now, concentrate on university tertiary graduates rather than a lot more on the secondary school recruits, so that when you're able to do that, for instance, you're recruiting over 11,000 plus people into the services, various. If you're going to absorb, let's say, 80% from university and other tertiary institutions graduates, that is a lot more for them. I mean, that is taking a lot more people from the unemployed list.
Exactly.
So that the secondary schools leavers are also encouraged to fill those spaces in the universities.
Yeah.
And this also would definitely make use of people's brains, people's abilities. They have gone to acquire a lot of knowledge in the universities.
Exactly.
And we allow them, we leave them. There are a lot of people who still want to go, but they compete with the secondary school for slots. Also because we want people who have height, who have macho, who have...
Exactly. And then at the end of the day, too, they go to the secondary school. Just like we have people studying science in the senior high school, they go to the university. They have specific courses designed for the sciences.
Yes.
They finish, they go to the medical school. If they so wish to become doctors, surgeons, whatsoever,
they continue
become. But for those who want to become soldiers, you know, when you get to the tertiary level, I mean, you may study the arts or whatever field and still find yourself.
Exactly.
But then the training that also ensures that you are captured within that same passion is no longer there. There is nothing like the army or how do we call it at the secondary school? Cadets. There is nothing like the cadets at the universities, apart from the maritime university that makes it compulsory.
But it's also because of how tertiary institutions are structured. I mean, it doesn't recognize anything like that
at all.
But perhaps if we are going to consider now recruiting straight,
but they have
from
a place for those who want to drum and dance and do theater. No, I'm not downplaying. Don't laugh.
Of course, I get it.
They have a place to train these people. In the
Why
passion.
don't we have?
I mean, from SHS we have the WDDC.
Exactly.
From there you go to
the School of Arts and
you continue
all that.
You continue like that. Anyways, Isaac Monte says I should wrap up. So Sam, if you would sum up with the Chronicle newspaper.
I think it's okay. It's okay. We have national issues to talk about. So let's go ahead and then have the issues discussed.
All right. So let's take a quick turn around. We'll right back to say with some more. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, what up, beautiful people? My name is Camido, aka Mr. Grind on Stop, aka Meet Up on the Team. And as you guys already know, I always partner with Sonotech Diagnostic Center to bring you guys a free screening every October, free breast screening. And this year we go again live from the 1st of October to the 31st of October. We're going to be giving you guys free breast screening, so we can prevent breast cancer in our people. Now listen, this is the best part. If need be that you undergo mammogram, we're going to give you 20% discount off the original price. And if need be that you undergo an ultrasound, we're giving you 50% off the original price. And you will not find this anywhere. So make sure from the 1st of October to the 31st of October, you make your way to all our centers in Tema, Osu, and West Hills Mall, Sonotech Diagnostic Center, and come get your breast screened. We don't want to see no breast cancer in our people. You already know. Peace and love. Mido say so. Boomba.
CB will make up now. I'm not correct. What's your best, Mankasa? That's it. You want oh, middle. You can't say about one for CB men capsules. Missy CB men capsules and I make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the dada and 1 year packaging. I
wow, what a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bias and walk on the piggy.
Share a painful, any about town, Mamma Danufo, any whatever you and come home.
Susanna, Ghana, man, Tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA Aji Edin Kato Yatu.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Breast cancer is very scary and all, but for some reason, a lot of women think that it could never happen to them. October is here again. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've come to know that breast cancer is the one cancer that's killing more women than any other cancer in women. This means that all of us need to be concerned and all of us need to take the requisite steps to ensure that we get screened, know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about, and most importantly, know that there is a cure. Breast cancer can be treated and is best when it's detected early. So take advantage of this Breast Cancer Awareness Month and go and get screened. There's free screening available. If you go to Sonotech in Accra, at their branches at the West Hills Mall in Tema or Osu, you can get your screening done for absolutely no fee at all. Also, if you'd like to do a mammogram or an ultrasound, you get it as a good discount during the month of October. It's time for all of us to get tested. Let us get screened. Let us know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about. And most importantly, let us know that if you do have any signs of breast cancer, the earlier it's detected, the better it is for you, your family, and your loved ones. This year, I'm happy to partner with Sonotech during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month to get more and more women interested in taking steps to know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about. Stay safe and get screened. My name is Na Shoko. I'm a broadcaster.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Water, but you're not getting your mouth. And that's all I'm the rock you are fired.
Malaria and tea. But you are yet to my bono.
But you have to feed it.
Malaria, therefore, yow. Enti awo. I shouldn't the customers. When you say, Mammy, I am smart. I perceive Malakio. I'm money buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Janisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean.
And now Emma will be around to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe we want. And
Sure better wa and Sibi Malakio. Yedinuna, Nehama, and Nakika Bom Asoneso, I yes Sibi Malakio. And no way so dear, and I don't grow. I yet tata shit.
A drawing yama a pen for a party a woman for any quada won't fear
Susiana, what would you with me?
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and crato imu adia to Musa and
You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. I am Priscilla Sewamenu, Miss Health Ghana 2020. The month October is noted for breast cancer awareness, and this October, Sonotech Ghana is partnering with Miss Health Ghana to bring you breast cancer awareness campaign dubbed Pink It Out. So from the 1st to 31st October, Sonotech Ghana is offering free breast screening for all women out there. Plus, you get 20% off mammogram and 50% off ultrasound scan if you need one at any of their branches. The campaign is on. Join the campaign, support women, encourage women to come for screening, and support women living with breast cancer. On this note, I will entreat all my sisters out there to come detect it, treat it, and defeat it, because early detection saves life. Thank you.
Right. Many thanks to you for staying with us. You're still watching AM Ghana here on Adoatv Television. I've been steering this with Sam Gusia Pia, who's made way out to make possible the newspaper review segment with my humble self. My name is Reginald Adi. Wow. So the menace of I don't know if it's a menace, but well, based on some concerns that were raised by the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Henry Quartey. The tricycles, specifically the Aboboya tricycles in the country, are causing a lot of harm. And he indicates that from 1st November, that is next week, 2021, all tricycles will be banned from the highways, especially the Tema motorway. However, ranking member on Parliament's Committee on Road and Transportation, Honorable Henry, Honorable Agboja, not Henry, Honorable Agboja, says that Honorable Henry Quartey is overstepping his authority. He made this pronouncement when he was addressing the press yesterday. Let's take a look at what he said. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests for the conversation, and then we'll wade into tricycles and the illegality or otherwise on our highways. Let's take a look.
This comes after the ban on tricycles, widely known as Aboboya, on Accra's highways was announced to take effect from November 1, 2021. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte, who put out the information, said the major place of concern for the exercise is the Tema motorway, of which this action to rid tricycle operators from the highways forms part of the Let's Make Accra Work agenda. However, speaking to the Parliamentary Press Corps Minorities Representative, who serves as the ranking member on Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee, Kwame Agboja, there are no laws in the country that support the move, adding that it is within the purview of the National Road Safety Authority and the Ministry of Transport.
So if the minister says somewhere next year they are going to stop them, let him be aware he is overstepping the authority under his watch. There's no law in this country that gives power to a regional minister to determine which vehicles drive on which roads. That is within the purview of the National Road Safety Authority and the Ministry of Road and Transport. The only way you should believe what the regional minister is saying is if he can quote a law that backs it. District assemblies and regional coordinating councils can't make a law and say vehicles cannot drive on a particular road. Indeed, I would have expected that we could even have a cycle lane along the motorway. So somebody who lives in Tema, who likes biking, can ride the motorbike or bicycle from Tema to Accra. We don't have that one now. That is what we need to be looking at the moment. So for the regional minister to say that they are going to ban the use of tricycles, I tell him, whilst you have a reason, you are just like treating malaria with paracetamol. The real cause is that the person has got malaria in his body, and painkillers don't cure, malaria. You need to treat malaria itself, then the pain will go.
He added that these tricycles, especially the ones that ply the Tema motorway, carry refuse from households to Tema, where there are recycling plants, since there are hardly any other parts of the city.
It is annoying and dangerous when you see Aboboya loaded with refuse on the motorway heading towards Boom, the treatment plant. It is dangerous, we all see it. But the solution is not to say you ban them. If you ban them, the question I ask you is, when they collect the refuse from, Dansoman or Osu, how would the refuse get to the treatment plant at a recycling plant at Boom? Can anybody suggest to me how they are supposed to carry it? Can the regional minister suggest the way by which the refuse that we collect around Accra will end up at the treatment plant without using the motorway? Or is he going to build new or a dedicated motorway for them or road for them?
Mr. Agboja noted that if the minister wants to truly ban tricycles on highways, he should use the appropriate measures to get a law passed. He stated that the regional minister is not only trying to take the job of the MTTD and others, but he is also taking on responsibilities he cannot back with any law.
Currently, there's no law in this country that gives the regional minister that right to say that they are going to ban Aboboya on using the motorways. There's no law in this country. The only reason you can stop any road user, including pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers, are when they fail to show that their vehicles are registered, or they have the proper roadworthiness certificate, or they are driving unsafely on the road. Beyond that, there's no law in this country that stops anybody from using the road. So is a regional minister trying to suggest that he's taking the job of the MTTD and others? No, we all want to help him do his job. But it appears he's taking on responsibilities which he cannot back with any law in this country. And we are cautioning him. If they want to make changes to this, they should liaise with the Ministry of Road and Transport through the appropriate agencies for them to bring the appropriate laws to this house to be passed.
So that was Honorable Kwame Agboja. He's a ranking member for Parliament's Select Committee on Roads and Transport. And he expressively shared that concern yesterday when he was addressing the press at the Parliament House. Well, joining me for the discussion on this one and some other matters in the country, for the newspaper review segment, I have our reps from the two leading political parties in the country. And good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to our studios once again.
Good morning.
Right. So, to the extreme right, we have Mr. Bernard Amon. He's representing the New Patriotic Party, and right beside me and in between is Mr. Israel McLean Ajukache. He's speaking for the National Democratic Congress. Now, this matter, I don't think it's political. Because for me, I think that it's about understanding the roles being played by, our leaders, and perhaps following the channels, and also about a concern that affects all of us, whether we are NPP, NDC, non-partisan whatsoever. The tricycles on our roads, yes, they are doing well with management of waste I beg your pardon, in the country. When you look at most of the domestic waste management services, almost all of them are using these tricycles to cut rubbish and waste from homes to the final point. However, sometimes the way they drive on the roads, sometimes their mannerisms, sometimes their conduct, and all of that combined together creates something that we really have to worry about. And so this went on to incite the Greater Accra Regional Minister to indicate that I was going to ban them. He also indicated, from using our highways, he also indicated that they will be registered within the districts where they find themselves. However, what we just saw from Honorable indicates that the regional minister has no rights, to even say that he was going to ban these tricycles from manning our roads. We'll look at these and then also look at some other aspects of these tricycles in the first place. This is also coming in a time when the Okada riders are also agitating about the Koda Drive initiative. Well, let's take to the Abubuya matters. Do you think that Honorable Enriquote went beyond his powers when indeed this situation is happening in his own region, in his own jurisdiction?
Okay. First and foremost, I'll greet your viewers, my honorable member of parliament, Sylvester Tetten, and everyone I have sent messages to watch me this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yes, of course. On the issue of Abubuya and whether it's within the purview of the...
Can I capture you out of that element a little bit? Okay. I mean, how is Honorable Sly Tete doing?
Oh, he's doing well by God's grace. Oh, he's doing well.
I called out on him this morning, I think, before you joined us, about the nature of the road from Wager Barrier, all the way to SCC Junction.
Wager Barrier. Are you talking about the water?
Yes, yes. I mean, when you mention that area, anybody who lives around there knows the concern over there. Yeah. And I'm sure you encountered the same.
Of course, I've lived there for so many, almost all my life.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I know that route.
Now, you have lived there most of your life.
A very, very long time.
Before, this wasn't the situation.
Exactly.
And then President Kufuor came, he did his bit on the stretch. We enjoyed some, good road and easy flow of drainage amongst, other benefits that the road should come with. And then all of a sudden, the mud started sliding onto the roads. And we've seen a lot being done. Most of the time, the gutters are desilted. But that is one erroneous idea of dealing with that situation, because anytime it is desilted,
It rains, and then the silt comes back to settle.
Yeah.
Now, Sylvester Tete promised that he was going to deal with this matter.
Yeah.
I think I saw some desilting as well.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
Okay.
And I've not seen anything or heard anything of him anymore. You said good morning to him. Maybe you've heard from him this morning. He messaged you. What has he said about the road?
Okay. You see, okay, you have lived there for how many?
For quite some time.
Okay,
For quite a substantial amount to notice that
of course,
he wasn't like that
anybody,
before.
even coming from Kaswa,
Certainly.
you know
Certainly.
that there's a problem with that
Certainly.
side of the road. And I was 6 when I came to that area, so I've lived there a very long time. And before there was just one lane. Vehicles are moving both left and right are all in one lane. So President Kufuor decided to make it the double lane that we are seeing. Then, you know, there's a white building on the right side of it. There's a white building called Frankfurt.
Yes.
There's this man, very rich man. In between that building, there's a road. And before then, it was a huge gutter, very huge drainage, where we were kids. We were even told there were crocodiles in it. We were even afraid, huge gutters. So we did not have any problem like that. We are not saying that now that it has been raining since. And we didn't have any problem like that. And then the other side where Atala is, from the Atala's place, and there's a story building. There was a very huge gutter, and that gutter was connecting under that bridge, under the road, to the other side. So those places were leading straight to the river or something. But during the construction, I think the gutter was whether covered or closed down or something like that. It's not there. And hence, they made the road on top. And you can't stop water, no matter how strong your building is. If it's flowing, I think that is. I think it's an architectural failure because the contractor was supposed to understudy, do wide consultation. When we put the blame on them, we also have to blame the other people living around the area. You know, Atala, usually when it rained, it was Atala who was suffering. So he has lifted his place. The other house there was a charcoal seller staying there, also has lifted his place. And then they've encroached into the land where the other side where the gutter used to pass. Now the gutter has become very small.
In fact, no, it's actually constructed, but very narrow.
Very narrow. Earlier it was very big.
Exactly.
And everybody was afraid to even use that side.
And you see that there's so much space around that small gutter that should be, widened.
Yeah, of course.
But it's being actually constructed as if it were a vein running through a human being. Very small.
Of course. I think that is the problem. And then if you look at Honorable and his impact, mostly when we came, we know this problem has been there. We have somebody who distills, who usually comes to distill. It's when we are forewarned about the rains, they come to clear and all those things. In fact, if you are supposed to solve this problem properly, there are going to be compensations involved because you are supposed to get some people out of the way.
I mean, we have a lot of agencies. Mr. Jokate, we are not cutting you out, but we are speaking about road transport. Yes. Aboboya will come inside eventually.
And the part of town that you are speaking about, I'm not conversant with it. So
certainly. But I think this should concern you as well because it's not a peculiar problem to the community alone. It's happening
from
other
places. Anybody who's traveling.
Exactly. All right. Now, my problem is that Sylvester Tete. I'll tell you for one that his campaign team appeared at my gate.
Okay.
All right. And I, for one, asked them, I have a personal problem with our road.
Exactly.
All right. And I, for one, asked him, so what are you going to do about this very situation? He said, don't worry. You vote for me first, and then I'll show you. Okay. Now, I came to believe so much.
Okay.
I'm saying I came to believe so much.
Okay.
And he also assured, the taxi drivers along that stretch that the road issues, the landslide issues would be dealt with. And what I see is that he's doing the same thing that his predecessor Alaji did, desilting those small gutters that are no longer serving any purpose. Right? Yeah. And we have several agencies. We have the Environmental Protection Agency. We have the Lands Commission, amongst other things, who would also be responsible to check some of these things. Yeah. And what saddens me more is that we have an institution that has been put in place that after our own negligence, they would then come and give people relief items. Not more.
Exactly.
Yeah. We allow people to build on waterways.
We allow people to construct anything they want to in places they are not supposed to. And then when the effect happens, NADMO will also come and say, take life jackets, take this, take this. So it's like we create institutions to help solve the problem, but we also create institutions to compensate for the problem. So how are we dealing with the problem?
Yeah.
Briefly on that one so that we can move to.
Okay, I think if you've been very, very observant lately, when it rains, even though we used to have the flooding, it is not as it was before. Truth be told, because you know
it will come. You know why it will come?
Why?
Because the same problem it's
No,
like a
the
cycle.
issue is because
it's like a cycle.
The recent distilling they did, in fact, it was massive. It wasn't just the normal pack the sand.
What's the end result?
Of course, that is why I'm saying
failed
that
now, isn't it?
Oh no, it's not failed now.
Oh, it's failed. The gutters have been submerged.
Of course, I'm saying that the job that they've done, that you can see from the rains that is happening. Now when you're going, usually when I'm going to work,
yes,
on my way to work, you see that other vehicles cannot even move after a rain.
Yes.
By this time around, it's not happening. And I'm saying that it is because of the kind of distilling that has been done there.
And I'm saying that it will happen again. The flood.
Because we will not also for the it is just an interim solution.
Oh yes.
Of course, it's not a permanent solution. We all know that. So the kind of distilling that was being done earlier was problematic, but now it's being done properly, and that is why we are seeing that immediately it rains, within some few minutes, close to an hour, the water dries up from the road, and motors and vehicles are able to pass. So I think that is a start. Of course, even we can't even work in the gardens without distilling them first. So that is one. And two, like I said, there's going to be compensation. It's going to be handled properly because there are people who have lived there for more than 30 years, and they've built on those ways, made investments there. You know, the iron rods, the people who sell iron rods around. Atala is a very huge company. Imagine you trying to move him, the level of compensation.
No, but if it's wrong, it's wrong. We have this
the
thing.
issue, but we also have
fearing people.
No, no, it's not about that. You see, the issue is this. Somebody like the man, I'm not saying he's big or somebody is afraid of him, but what I'm just trying to say is that they've been there and then he lifted his place.
Yes.
And
so he solves the problem for himself.
Himself alone.
And then
they've made their place higher than the road.
So he shifted the problem to the next.
Yes, of course, and it looks like that's what everybody is doing.
Exactly.
So it's going to involve wide consultation and proper compensatory plans. This problem we know. It's not just a political problem. It's a problem that has been there. Even the ordinary Ghanaian who sits at land commissions and gets opportunity and knows that this site is going to be used for a gutter. Nobody should. He will give it up. Take some money, give it up. So we have a problem, and we have a human problem in this country.
Well,
see, that is why government is put into a tight corner where you are supposed to compensate people who actually did something that is illegal.
Wow.
You understand? Because when he goes to court, he doesn't have the knowledge to say that I know this place was that and that you can fault him for it. He didn't know. He went to Lands Commission. You gave him the license.
They know. What I'm saying is that when
I have the license,
when you see Honorable Sylvester Tete, tell him that we in the area we are begging him. And in fact, I'm begging.
But I'm sure you know that we've Honorable has worked on the. What do you call it? The Botiano Road, you know? The new Botiano Road.
Yes.
It has been fixed.
The other people...
and then we are working on the broadcasting one too.
The other people around broadcasting area, they are also begging.
Of course.
Me too. Those
we are working on, they are constructing gutters at broadcasting. So after the gutter, the road
all I'm saying is that I am on behalf of the people in the area, we are begging that you speak to the member of parliament since he's your friend. Okay, and tell him that you come to the studio, you have a conversation with your very good friend Reginald Adi, and I'm begging on behalf of the people. Okay, and that if we can also get some MTTD traffic wardens at Block Factory, you know the Christian Methodist students. They cross that side a lot, and it's a big problem. Now let's move away from that constituency. The problems in that constituency, there are plenty. It's raining. The rains are here. I don't know about your area. How safe are you?
I think they are doing new construction at my end. That's Nungua, Tema to Accra Road. So it's a new construction ongoing.
Long, Charlie.
I think today is not a day for us to talk about the reasons why.
I just wanted to give you a fair time so that you also speak about your constituency.
Yes, but with my place, we don't really see this flooding and other stuff at where I live.
Right.
Yes. One, probably I have to recommend to him and you that you, the citizens living there, if you want to wait entirely on government, you may be losing your lives and government may not even come.
Right.
So at our end, what happens is that we have community engagement even among ourselves. We have people, when you are even building, there are people under the community chiefs that can identify this as a threat to us in the community, and they will draw the attention of the municipal authorities to come and look at it. So when you citizens are seated, you are watching somebody raising this building to a very high level, you've not said anything, you've not even contacted the assembly and then those people. It's not everything that they are able to know, my brother.
Exactly.
We have to be our watchdogs
Right.
so that we inform them, then they'll come. Practical of it is that, you know, I live just opposite Premier Health Insurance around the Teshinungwa estate. Now, those days that road was not done, when it rained, you see little flood. But when they were doing the road, there was a time that I was passing, I saw that the way they are creating the gutter, it was too small. We gathered boys and we discussed, Charlie, this thing, the way they are doing it will not help us. And we are the people going to suffer. The contractor will leave. So we approached a chief and said, Charlie, this is what we have seen. How do you say? So, okay, that is good. Let me go and see this person. Let me see this person. They came back and it's widened.
Right.
You get it? Right. So you, the people living there, we have gotten to a level that, look, we need to be vigilant ourselves.
But let me laud the people of Nungwa and say that when it comes to, you know, citizen vigilantism, they have done so very well.
Sure.
And they still continue to go on. Let me say kudos to Mr. Meto Nunu, who also champions the same cause. And I think that if we will all take cue from
and recently the MP of the area, Honorable Namomo Latte, you know, she has come up with a new setup of Operation Clean your frontage and those communities. Where she has bought all items necessary. So now if you want to clean, you don't need to go and be begging for items. You just go to her place, the items are there.
Wow.
If it's a school you want to clean, you move to that place, pick the item, then you go and clean. Wow. And there are times that she herself come back to the community, join these people, and they take it from there. So
certainly. So
we have to be engaged.
I think we need to take cue from the people of Nungwa
sure.
and see. And I think that if members of parliament will also do the same, provide those materials. I think that people wouldn't have reason to say, oh, media mini prior, but I don't have a rake and a shovel. Well, let's move away from that. Now, since we spoke a bit about road, then let's go straight on to the Aboboya issue. I asked earlier, do you think that Honorable Henry Kwate is overstepping his boundaries as a regional minister, when indeed all of these things are happening in his region?
Okay. I think the regional minister, listening to him, I followed him particularly on this topic. Yesterday he was on one of your stations and he explained.
One of our sister stations.
So he explained into details. And I think his reason for championing this and then bringing out the ban is that mostly the question is that are the assemblies or are the regional ministers responsible for these things? The regional minister did a lot of consultation, and he admitted that at the parliamentary level, the committee of transport, he engaged them, including, I think, the honorable was part. He said 20 members, and they were all engaged, and then they all agreed to this. Yes, he also engaged the assemblies. He engaged the assemblies within the region. He engaged, what do you call it, the Aboboya. In fact, the Aboboya, I don't know whether they have an association. They are big men. Then he has engaged them.
Sure.
Yes, he has
engaged.
They
have an association.
Yes. So according to him, he has engaged almost everyone necessary for this. And you know, the assembly also has powers. The RCC has powers to make laws concerning their region. Yeah, we are not running a Senate or congressional system like the US, where they can make such laws. And we are not running the kind of governance they are running. But it's a government appointment. The regional minister is like representing the president. From my layman's perspective, you know that when the president decided during the COVID times that we should stay indoors, it's not constitutional, but like explicitly written.
Yes.
But it's because of the circumstances that we are facing. That he made a decision based on that. And I'm sure according to the regional minister, the powers, it's a bylaw. And I am also saying, I'm understanding him from the perspective that, you see, all these roads that we are talking about, they are roads that are within an assembly. They are roads that are within a district or municipal. Yes. And it's one way or the other, whatever that goes on within that area affects the assembly one way or the other. Because they are hospitals, granted, God forbid, people are involved in accidents and they go to the hospitals. These are things that are going to happen within the municipal. And whether the roads are damaged, we are today talking about Gao. At the end, whatever the MP will do, it will end up at the assembly. To go to urban routes, you know the office is at Wajan. Yes. So it is something that is interconnected. So Honorable was surprised, and Honorable Kwete was surprised that the minister will make such an utterance because he thought that this is something that he expects a collective, because he knows that on the NDC side, nobody disagreed at the committee level. He wasn't expecting that when we come out there, after agreeing, you come out there and say something else. So he was surprised. And he gave this explanation that they owe a duty to the areas that they are overseeing. Hence, the reason why they are putting a ban on all these things. And trust me, the main issue is not for somebody to feel powerful or not. No, that is not the issue. We have a problem of filth, tackling filth in this country. And the whole genesis of this matter, or the whole importance of this matter, is to address the filth issue in this country. And that is what the minister is geared towards. It's not just because of the accident rate. Or
So is it that the tricycles are causing filth? Because no. What I know is that, I mean, they usually come into the communities, you know, to pick up, or perhaps these waste management services are taking advantage of the tricycles. I mean, because of its first of cost efficiency, you know, to go into the communities too.
Yeah, yes.
So if they are cutting filth, in a way they are helping with cleanliness.
Exactly. So this is what this is how it looks like. You just I think the NDC member of parliament was too quick to come out, because if you listen properly and they read whatever governs this Aboboya ban, you will know that it's very comprehensive. It's not just something that we just ban them and they are going to stay at home. No. You know, mostly they play on the principles to the motorway because they are going to come to the waste management facility there. They are going there. These vehicles mostly, and we know, sometimes they don't even cover it properly. They carry the garbages and then on the road, the sound will be flying about. They end up, we know. Yes. Sometimes when their machine breaks down, nobody's watching. They just dump there.
Some of them.
Yes. No, I'm saying some. I said some.
Yes.
So they will just dump some of the refuse there. Nobody is there. You just go. The next morning, you pass on a particular street. There's no filth there. The next time you come, there's filth somewhere. Yeah. And it looks like a group of people have come to you. It's not like one person can carry it. It's only wise to know that it is somebody who just came to tip it down from a vehicle. And these are some of the things. And the minister did mention that the security aspect is that on the motorway, we have recorded about 99 accidents related to this Aboboya in their quest to send this waste to Pong. This is the plan. The plan is that we are going to, by 22nd February next year, we are going to limit them in the respective district they operate. Right. So when you are, and then at the district assembly level, you are going to have a place that is called transfer sites, where these Aboboya will be operating within the areas, goes to keep the waste. That is where we will have the compassion trucks, the big, what we call bolaka, will come to those areas.
They are called compassion trucks.
Yes, of course. They will come and pick those, the huge ones in volumes, and then apply the motorway or wherever that is supposed to be. I think this is good. When they engage them, they were talking about the amount of money they charge when they come to our houses to pick these things, and the distance they have to go. It puts a lot of financial burdens on them. Hence, if we localize it for them and they are operating within their areas without having to risk their lives, and in fact risk dirtying out the street, then these people will do it within their municipality. In fact, they can go a lot number of times than they carrying refuse from Akai and going to Tama. Right. Just imagine. Right. So if it is, I think it's a comprehensive plan, like I said. It's not something that we just thought, or there's fun in banning them. No,
so since it's that comprehensive, I believe that where and when concerns arise about this, we can then refer to the entire document or plan to address some of these so that the public would understand. Mr. Ajogaje, Honorable Enrique at a point said that some party members are having meetings behind him, are plotting behind him, amongst other things. Do you think that now the NDC is also taking part, conniving with other people because of this same pronouncement? Because as he said, he had a meeting with the select committee on roads and transportation. So he's quite surprised that the member of parliament would come out and, sort of challenge that decision.
Yeah. Good morning to yourself, and then good morning to your cherished viewers, and good morning to my MP as well, Honorable Kwajo Nyapo Abuaji, Biakoya constituency in the OT region. Right. Today is good. We are talking about Greater Accra.
Very soon we'll go to the Volta region.
For the OT region, such problems would not come easily.
I see.
Have you studied that in the villages, cleanliness is at its highest peak than in the cities?
I mean, certainly. You look at population density,
yes,
amongst other things.
But even the way they think, I'm telling you that we the educated ones, we are worse off than even those that are not educated. Let's be real. I'm telling you, the number of people who are educated in Accra are more than the people who are even educated there. But you go to a village, you see a woman using broom. Even the main road, she's not paid by Zoom Lion, she's not paid by government, but she will take broom and sweep her front stage every morning. So imagine if everybody is able to do that in Accra. There are places we go to buy food where the food is being sold. The gutter there is choked. But the person selling there has gone to GSS, SS, and probably diploma. You get it? Let me come back to the main issue. The NDC is not part of whatsoever meeting that members of Henry Cortes' party, the MPP, had to sabotage him. But if it is also true that there are members in the MPP who are trying to sabotage him because they see him to be becoming powerful, I think it's a wrong meeting and it was a wrong decision for them to gather there. I'm not a member of the MPP, but I think that for us to move forward, we need to support the regional minister on whatever he's doing. If Namumu,
no matter how good or bad it may be.
No, what he's doing is good, and I'm supporting the good part. Right. If his bad side comes, we'll chastise him.
Okay.
If I can say that Namumu has bought items just to make sure that we distill and clean our community, why would I, on the other hand, be chastising Henry Cortes for making Accra clean? I'm not being fair to him. Right. But I want to put it on record that there had been no meeting in the NDC caucus that has advised that let us join the forces of the evil planners against Henry Cortes in determining this. But one thing I also want to advise the minister is that, look, he should be humble and continue the good work he's doing. Right. He should not channel his energy towards those he's seen as threats to him from his party. But those people, we don't know them. He's the one we know. If he fails, we'll give it to him. And the same way he's passing, we are praising him. So I'll beg him that he should rather be humble. Now, look at the reaction that we got from him when Mr. Agboja, presented his grievances or probably his thoughts on the issue. It was a press conference, and Mr. Agboja said, one thing I picked that was very important, I think the ministers have to look at, is that he said what he's doing is unconstitutional. The same way burning of excavators started, we said it's unconstitutional. We went on burnt excavators, and now we are paying judgment debts for these things. So he's sounding a warning that, look, he even said that, look, he supports the agenda to clean Accra. And when he's driving on the stretch, at any point in time, he sees these Abubuya people and others, he's not happy. But he's also, trying to draw the attention of the minister that, look, what do you want to do? It is unconstitutional. So let us come to the legal table and look at it. And look, the advice is given. I think it's fantastic. Because one, when we come back to the table and we put laws in place, immediately the laws are there, everybody will comply. But today, if you go and you ban Aboboya, or in the course of this ban, you know how Ghanaians are, we ban things. It can lead to some form of chaos. You see a Aboboya person on the road, and then you just catch him. Whatever happens, maybe we can even go to the extent of burning Aboboyas again. If we can burn excavator, that's like 500 million. You can't burn Aboboya that is now 4,000 or 8,000 Ghana cedis. Right. So he's looking at all those things that for us not to get to that level, let's get a law. Getting a law is the genesis of every problem solving. Well, even in Ghana we have laws, but sometimes the things we do in the existence of those laws will wow you.
How unconstitutional is the call?
Yes.
Is it you're calling that we should establish the law?
Yeah.
Now, certainly the establishment of the law would begin with a draft.
Good.
That would be discussed.
Sure.
If possible, it will be passed into a bill.
Sure.
If assented to, then it becomes a law.
Yeah.
Now, how wrong? So I'm still trying to find the points where it becomes unconstitutional. That is what I'm looking for.
Now, Mr. Agboja, according to what he said, stated that there is no law in Ghana that bans motorbikes, tricycles from moving on our roads.
Yes, but then somebody realizes that this is becoming a problem.
Yes.
So wants to institute a bylaw.
That is...
I think the question is that, is it out of the jurisdiction of the regional minister, all right, to take a move towards instituting a bylaw? Is it wrong
for him to institute
a bylaw?
He can do that. He can present.
So why is
that?
Why is Honorable Agboja indicating that it is unconstitutional?
No,
certainly unconstitutional.
No, there are two things here.
Okay.
There are no existing laws that gives the minister that power and authority to act the way he is acting.
To ban.
You get
outright.
It? Yes, that is one. That is what the MP is raising, if I'm right. Then on the other hand, you are raising a topic that is it not...
is it unconstitutional for the
It is not.
regional?
It is not unconstitutional. It is part of their duties, activities, and responsibility for them to initiate. Now, the law has not been initiated. The bill, the paper has not even been initiated.
In fact, it's a draft at this.
Yes, it has not been initiated. So he is only advising. I don't see this as an argument that should be drawn. No. You are my friend. You are a member of parliament. I'm a member of parliament.
So to you, Honorable Agboja came out too early, like it says.
I'm not saying he came out too early, but if this thing should not come up at this level, and we should wait at a longer time, wouldn't it also be unfair to the process? You get it? It's just like I'll say, Charlie, the way we are looking at how marriages are going now, don't you think we need to put laws in place? I'm only suggesting that, Charlie, what you are doing, there is no law. So if somebody decides to test you against the law, you may have problem.
Right.
You get it? Okay. I am not seeing his statement as being something that he's attacking. No, let me tell you, the number of people who are supporting Herikote, not the MPP, but Herikote alone in his fight to keep Accra clean are more than the people who are against him. Right. And everybody is aware of that. Another aspect that I was also looking at is that if Herikote is looking at a process of banning tricycles, then we should rather be looking at the same law where we are going to put segmentation of road users. When you go to Cote d'Ivoire, on their highways, there are taxis that do not go to that place. They have specific taxis that are registered and licensed for only the highways.
Yes.
So if you are moving from Pando, when you get to Ashama, and your car is not registered to ply even the motorway, you don't take that side.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So if I can read into Mr. Agboja's mind, I am beginning to see that he's only looking at a very comprehensive way that when we put it once and for all.
Okay. To the extent that there would be a definition for such vehicles that can ply the motorway and those, or highways, and those that cannot ply the highway.
As in the case that we are dealing with Aboboya,
right,
that means that Aboboya is the main basis to which this law has emanated. And if it is going to continue, then we now have to factor everything. Let me come on this. When we are looking at road usage, of which the minister want to look at, items that disorganize or distort or distract the smooth running of road is not only Abuboya. There are more deadlier things. You get it? But today we are discussing Abuboya
as one of those elements.
As one of those elements. And now Mr. Agboja is saying that he is seeing from an angle where he is sitting that, look, the Abuboya that we are discussing today, good. It is something that we can do. But there are other things that when you fix this one, you leave, another one will come up. So collectively and holistically, let us set a law that, okay, on our highways, we don't want to see this. You get it? Or on community roads, fine. Another thing that he raised that I agree.
That would be dealing entirely with the transportation system.
Sure.
But I don't think that is the focal point of Honorable Kwate's call. His call is like Mr. Amos says, is about the nature of, the littering, amongst other things, that these Abubuya that are involved in cutting refuse, are involved in. Sure. You put that aside, and if you want to look into transportation in itself, remember that we have a very, very huge transportation deficit in the country. Is it. And so if he wants to go there, then maybe it's not going to be today. But for the menace of littering, we can look at it and tackle those vehicles. Hold on. Yes. And tackle those particular vehicles that are involved in littering. And those are the tricycles.
Good. You see, it is interesting that we are youth. And our assessment of this thing is going beyond only the Abuboya. When you mention there is a deficit to the transport system of the country, there is also a deficit to the sanitation system of the country. We cannot put them at this point.
That deficit warrants that, like for instance, those in Tema would fly all the way to Accra, and those in Accra would fly all the way to Tema. When indeed we have recycling plants, we have landfilling sites in all of these areas.
The district and the...
I mean, I'm just asking, does the deficit also warrant that form of stretch?
As in for that moving all the way.
Okay, let me perhaps rephrase. Can we do away with Abuboya, those carting the rubbish, plying the motorway because they want to send refuse from Accra to Kpo?
That is why I was coming to say that I agree with him on the situation where we create a system where the bigger trucks are able to come, and there is a particular place they pick all those things and they can move on the motorway, so that the Abuboya and others can be the local community, go to this and pick that. So you see, all these things that we are speaking are things that has to be on paper. Because if these things are not on paper, how then do you implement them well? Because you cannot go anywhere and go and meet somebody and say, Abuboya rider, park. You may go to court if he decides to take you to court. There is no law that is going to back you as your backbone to say that I'm operating from this angle.
Right. So as you can say, thank you. You've had quite some time. Ms. Amo, you know that. Okay, I don't know if you know. The problem is with most of our policies is that once they come out, especially policies that seek to correct some wrongdoing, and these wrongdoings come to be part of us that we see them as normal. And it becomes people's source of livelihood. Okada, for instance. Galamsey, for instance. Now, Abuboya. Though it is causing issues, and though these tricycles that are not licensed for commercial purposes are being used, I mean, if you want to count the anomalies with it, there are many. But when we want to ban them, the problem then happens, they will be put out of jobs. Now, I don't know if you've studied, but most of these waste managers that are using the Abuboya, they move from their points to very far communities because perhaps in where they live, the system has already been captured.
Sure.
Every house has been covered. So that they find a niche. Let me go outskirts and find those areas that have not been covered. and make business there. So some from Tema or Kpong or wherever have you, on the other side of the motorway, have come to find their niche in Accra. All right? And so whether we provide these, forgotten the name, compassion tracks, you know, stationed in Kpong for them to stay and work within their districts and send their whatnot to the compassion tracks. Whether we find that solution or not, some of them would still have to ply the motorway to come and provide that service for those they provide for in Accra. And then at the end of the day, they'll send the rubbish to the compassion tracks. They'll still ply the motorway back home. It's the same aboboya on the motorway. What other solutions or alternating means are we going to provide? Does the draft state this? You say it's comprehensive.
Of course. Okay. Okay. First, when my brother was speaking, he made some.
Okay, you have some time to do that.
No, on the Galamsey, he said the burning of excavators, which led to a judgment debt.
Yes.
I think he should review his notes because that matter has been quashed by the Attorney General. He went again to the court and the ruling was turned.
Right.
So that matter.
So we've not had any judgment.
No.
None.
Which one are you talking? Isn't it the Imperial Mining Company? They had a $50 million issue. I think the matter has been quashed by the Attorney General. So now fast forward to your question. What we are trying to do and what's this, and very importantly, it is not like the regional minister or MMDCs do not have the power to make bylaws. Bylaws are also enforceable in court. You understand? It's also law.
Yes.
The only issue is that the bylaws should not be a law that does not go in tandem with the constitution of the country.
It doesn't go contrary
of
to
course.
the
So if it goes in contrary, then there's a problem. You understand? So, and I believe, he says on the committee, there was Attorney General's representation on the committee who also informed them. So obviously, if there were any legal issues like Honorable is saying, or unless I'm feeling that Honorable is saying maybe Henkwete is being too powerful, or his thinking is too powerful, or going beyond his powers. But I think he's also working in the space of the bylaw, where the regional minister, through its MMDCs, have the right to. You understand? And it's also law. You understand? It's also law. Now, what we are trying to localize the movement of Aboboya, so which will at the end bring more monies to them. This is my answer to a question where, if you are moving because of market viability, you see that in your area where you have Aboboya, people have already taken the space, so you have to move to an area which, if you come, what the whole thing is about, you move to the municipal assembly. There are taxis that are registered, but are registered in a particular area, but move to another district to operate. When you go there, you go for their AMA sticker before you are allowed to work there. Because if they see you, they can.
You know, the case of taxis is different.
No,
Taxis don't go from home to home to appeal that, unless perhaps they come to a conclusion with an individual that, let me catch your children, let me drive your children in the morning to this. And I think it's a service they are rendering now.
Of course. Even
but
just
Aboboya and the waste management services, they tend to go into individual homes. They have contracts with them. They are paid monthly or weekly, and then they go into the houses to pick up the rubbish. And so in areas where all of these have already been covered by some individuals, those who, like you say, those who have to come to the district, where are they going to be?
The issue is this. We want to control their movement. We want to also control our main issue with filth. The reason why I gave the taxi as an example is that when you can't go and pay your AMA whatever amount of the money in Accra and go and work in Central Region. They'll arrest you and make you get the Futu Senya whatever sticker on your vehicle. You understand? Because they believe and know that whatever you do there has effect on the assembly. Hence, because even pollution alone has a percentage of monies that will go back to the assembly. So when you want to work within a particular area, or you're already an existing customer there, then our advice as a business, from a business point of view, that if you see this is where I have my many customers, I think it's maybe you won't relocate, but maybe you should park your truck there, your abobo yard there, come back when it's time, early morning, when it's time, to move around your areas, collect it, and go to the assembly, and make sure you register in the assembly. That this is where, because you have to do profitability analysis and realize that these are the areas that I get more money from. Hence, if I have about 2 people in Kanesi and I have 6 people in Kaswa, why don't I go to Kaswa and work? You understand? So you go to Kaswa so that somebody also gets that opportunity that you've left. So that somebody will also gets it there. And this is a very good business opportunity for people who have the money to buy it even in bulk to join. You understand? You go to the assembly, get your registration, get your license, get riders, licensed riders. You get all those people, and in fact, regularize them properly. And as they pass through, get all the permits necessary and work. And these are businesses for a lot of people. So if you have the capital, you can even plan about it. Because by 22nd, according to the regional minister, we are seeing that all those composite sites within the 50 or so municipal metropolitan assemblies within the Greater Accra who have their composite sites ready. Then transfer sites ready. So when it's ready, you just collect it. And then you go and dump it there. Then you get paid. You get paid. You collect money and go and dump it there. Then Zoom Lion, who has already provided about 58 tracks or something like that, and depending on the strength of the assembly and the human beings there, the population, will give you. You see whether you qualify for 4 tracks, 4 compassion tracks, or what we call bolaka, 4, 2, or anything like that, and they will be involved in the daily movement of these things on our major highways. But until then, the ban is just on the motorway. Aside the motorway, that is the 1st of November, the ban is on the plan of the motorway. Aside that, February 22nd, then all the highways in Greater Accra, you are not supposed to use it.
Now, that's the scariest part.
But my question is this. Okay. My issue is this. You know, some of these big trucks, they can't enter everywhere. Yeah, because of our settlement arrangement.
Sure.
But these bikes, trust me, you'll be shocked where they can go.
Exactly.
You'll be shocked where they can go. And I'm saying that, and I believe so, that the regional minister has considered that we will not also put the transfer sites in areas where it will be difficult for them, the Aboboyas, to reach. You understand? It will be friendly for their type of bikes that they have. So they will be able to reach there and then deposit it for the composite compassion vehicles to move them to the waste management field. So I think it's, like I said, it's a very comprehensive program. And I believe just like we've had the support from the NDC side, or the only fallout is what, and it's just a genuine concern, I understand. Maybe it has to be tested, it has to be legally informed, and they will know whether it is going in contravention with the constitution or it's actually in line, because the Honorable is saying that there are reasons for doing that. It's under the bylaw powers they have to make bylaws, and he's also saying that they do not have the right. It's actually the Ministry of Road and Highways. I don't think the ministry is given the opportunity to also say anything different from what the minister said.
Genuinely, do you feel that Honorable has a genuine concern for calling out on the Honorable Henry Kwati? You know, because we have come to understand that it is not out of his powers to institute a bylaw. He can do that, even if it's beyond him, he can do that through the district assemblies. And I mean, perhaps I don't know if he contacted the Ministry of Transport, but he spoke to the Parliament Select Committee on Roads and Transport, which I don't think is far-fetched. Do you think that Honorable Abuja has a genuine concern on this matter?
Sure. The concern is genuine. You see, this discussion is taking 2 ways, whilst it's supposed to be only 1 way. He is not condemning Henry Kwati that you are bringing a law and that law you are bringing is unconstitutional. That is not what he's saying.
But he mentioned, he spoke about the constitutionality.
Yes, I'll get there.
Constitutionality.
That is Abuja speaking. Has Henry presented a draft to Parliament? No. So Abuja is not saying that Henry bringing a draft to Parliament is unconstitutional. That is not what he's saying. He said it is unconstitutional for you to declare today that November this, we are stopping this, whilst there is no law yet. So I'm advising that bring a law to Parliament. That is his concern. Okay. So so we are I mean giving different interpretation to this.
Yes.
According to him, he said his attitude and his posture and his determination and directives are unconstitutional.
Is this something to have come out into the media to indicate, as opposed to approaching Henry, who also approached the same committee. This and this is what I want to do. Is it out of order for him to have approached Honorable Kwate to indicate that, or perhaps even at the meeting, was he there at the meeting? Because I think that if he was there, he could have raised this concern, or even if he came after as an afterthought, he should perhaps have used the same medium that Honorable Kwate used to approach them, to address him, that I think that you should go this way, this way. If he does, then Honorable Kwate says, I will not take it. Then you come out into the media and say that, look, this and this and this and this is what I spotted, and I think that it is wrong. And so I think you should look into it as well.
I don't know whether you want us to agree that there is only a one way to present.
I think that there is a one way to
no, there is no one way. That is what you feel, but that is not. We don't have any item in Parliament or any law in Parliament that will state that any concern you have should be channeled underground. If that issue had not come up today, are you aware that there are other institutions and organizations who might not even know? But today we are discussing this issue. If somebody somewhere also has an interest, will also by all means start moving to the office of the regional minister. So to me, as a parliamentary work, these things are normal things. We've heard a lot of, antagonistic argument and all those things in their days.
Especially
unless otherwise,
it happens often when both sides do not agree. Do not come
so
to
let me get there. I'll get there.
Okay.
So now my problem is that as you sit here and as I am here, none of us can prove that at that meeting there had been hinges or not.
Okay.
And I will not believe that at such a meeting there had been no concerns that are raised that will serve as probably problem that will probably curtail or cross the ways of the regional minister. That is where the whole system is silent on. You and I, we are not privy to that meeting. For all you know, what happened at that meeting, you are talking for Henry Kwate because you are from MPP, and you will speak for him because that is what you heard him say. But you will not also agree on the otherwise if it should come up. Are you getting what I'm saying? So we should not pretend as though we have all not been to meetings where we agree on something, but we have also recommended. You get it? So we can go to a meeting and we'll also recommend that, look, these items that you are raising, this particular one needs to be carried out. And your posture, your response at that meeting can inform another way to handle you. So if Agboja has decided to employ another system to also penetrate and inform the system again, he is a member of parliament and represents a group of persons that he has that right to do what he's doing.
One big concern is about the alternative means of, those whose markets would be, lost because of this initiative. He speaks about, some district intervention and all.
Yeah.
How well do you agree with that?
Good.
Do you see any lights in that?
Yes. You see, when he was speaking, then he came back that immediately you mentioned the district or the assemblies. That it means that the constitutionality that the Agboja speaks about is relevant. Because you are now going to engage district on a new system that is coming in place. And these institutions has to be regulated. When you are driving in, let's say, Katamanso, and then we have Aboboyas that work within that place. Yes, they have to be registered to the Katamanso. And Katamanso has to be the one that will manage if there's going to be a landfills among all those places, so that the people who operate in that system, you can come from, let me say somewhere, Weja, and come to Katamanso to work. Necessarily, you don't need to ride your Aboboya on that stretch to this place. There is a designated place for collection, packing, and management and maintenance of all these things that the district has to
register as
yes. So the district will manage those places. So
Right.
when you finish work, you pack there is a security, you pay money to all these things, and they pay those people who even manage, maintain, and provide security services to these things. So you come to this district, they have a place that is designated for that. You go to this assembly, it is also there. So every assembly has their own system. So I agree with him. Those stickers that the taxi drivers used to do, it has to also come to a replication on the Aboboya market. New people who want to join, we bring more people and create more employment, open the market, and then we will not look. Even though the Aboboya people are doing good, we still have fields.
So we need more.
We need more. There are times that Aboboya will come to my house. Immediately he picks. The next person will now come out. It's full. He has to send that one back.
Exactly.
Then another interesting thing is that when the assemblies are managing these things, they determine how you even mold the Aboboya. So that they don't use those nets and plywoods and things that it can be blowing away. That is why we are all speaking at the same point and driving at the same intention that, look, let the assemblies take this opportunity. It's something good that they can even make money from. Because when they manage and regulate it, Charlie, will make money from it. So it's a good move.
Indeed. Great young minds here, and I'm happy that we are all at least agreeing on how things should be. I think that the regional minister should also take into consideration those bits that are, emanating or perhaps challenging the draft, so that we can have an even stronger draft that, when once passed or implemented, wouldn't have loopholes that we would have to go back to fill. Well, we were just speaking on the response by Honorable Adjokate in line with the intended ban on the use of Aboboya on the motorway from November 1st. I'll go for a quick turnaround. I'm here with Mr. Amu, who is speaking for the NPP, and Mr. Adjokate, who is speaking for the NDC. When we come back, we'll speak on some other matters. Over some days, we saw some recruits who were willing to join the Ghana Immigration Service. It was a long queue, and there are lots of concerns on that. Now, apart from that, we understand that some 5 NDC members of parliament have raised some concerns. We'll look into that as well. You're watching AM Ghana. My name is Reginald Adi. We'll be right back.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
CB women capsules now. I'm correct. What's your best mankasa?
That's it.
Who anyone? Oh, middle. You capsules back on CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules in America.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You name the dada. And one year packaging I have a.
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako do pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada go di fie do
Susanna, Ghana man man tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edwedin kato yato.
Breast cancer is very scary and all, but for some reason, a lot of women think that it could never happen to them. October is here again. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've come to know that breast cancer is the one cancer that's killing more women than any other cancer in women. This means that all of us need to be concerned and all of us need to take the requisite steps to ensure that we get screened, know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about, and most importantly, know that there is a cure. Breast cancer can be treated and is best when it's detected early. So take advantage of this Breast Cancer Awareness Month and go and get screened. There's free screening available. If you go to Sonotech in Accra, at their branches at the West Hills Mall in Tema or Osu, you can get your screening done for absolutely no fee at all. Also, if you'd like to do a mammogram or an ultrasound, you get it as a good discount during the month of October. It's time for all of us to get tested. Let us get screened. Let us know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about. And most importantly, let us know that if you do have any signs of breast cancer, the earlier it's detected, the better it is for you, your family, and your loved ones. This year, I'm happy to partner with Sonotech during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month to get more and more women interested in taking steps to know whether or not we have anything to be concerned about. Stay safe and get screened. My name is Na Shoko. I'm a broadcaster.
Water, but when I get your mouth, and then so I bet order. The rock you are fire.
Malaria and tea. Apa you are yet more bono.
What you have to keep it.
Malaria therefore yao. Enti awo. Hashire the customers. When you say mammy I smart. Apa CB Malakio. Amma ne baya or the eco school. Share. Say a pianisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean.
And now Emma when be around to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And Trebetua and the CB Malakio. You do not. And now kick out from a son so I CB Malakio. And no way so dear. And I know grow. And yet that shit.
A drawing your ma appeal for about a woman for any quada won't in fear.
Susanna, what would you win?
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and crato you mu aja to Musa and
Hey, what up, beautiful people? My name is Camilo, aka Mr. Grind on Stop, aka Meet Up on the Team. And as you guys already know, I always partner with Sonotech Diagnostic Center to bring you guys a free screening every October, free breast screening. And this year we go again live from the 1st of October to the 31st of October. We're going to be giving you guys free breast screening, so we can prevent breast cancer in our people. Now listen, this is the best part. If need be that you undergo mammogram, we're going to give you 20% discount off the original price. And if need be that you undergo an ultrasound, we're giving you 50% off the original price. And you will not find this anywhere. So make sure from the 1st of October to the 31st of October, you make your way to all our centers in Tema, Osu, and West Hills Mall, Sonotech Diagnostic Center, and come get your breast screened. We don't want to see no breast cancer in our people. You already know. Peace and love. Mido say so. Boomba.
That within a space of just 1 year, fuel prices have risen from 4.77 cedis to 6.8 cedis, representing a whopping 43% increment per liter. In just 1 year, we are witnessing an increment of 43% under this insensitive and clueless government. These astronomical increases has resulted in untold hardship which is threatening the very lives of ordinary Ghanaians.
Present members of the Parliamentary Press Corps, Ranking Member Mr. John Abudulai Jinapo explained that the demands by the Minority Caucus on the committee to scrap the special petroleum tax imposed on petroleum products has become necessary because crude prices, which was pegged at a benchmark price of $54.75 billion per barrel in the 2021 budget statement, has risen to over $85, representing an increment of over 55%.
Promised the people of Ghana prior to assuming office that they will abolish the energy sector levies, describing these levies as obnoxious and nuisance, and even promised further to move the country from taxation to production. Look at the price build-up of petroleum products at the pump would reveal that levies and margins alone accounts for almost 20% of almost 40%. I beg your pardon. Let me take it again. Taxes and levies alone accounts for almost 40% of the final export price. Ghanaian businesses cannot even plan properly due to the unbridled and unprecedented fuel price increments, which is fast becoming the order of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the attempt by government to blame these hikes on world market prices is untenable. A critical look at the 2021 budget would clearly reveal that following the energy sector levy, recovery levy imposition of 20 pesos and the introduction of the sanitation and policing levy of 10 pesos, as well as increments in fuel margins, fuel prices witnessed a colossal increase of 12.48%. This cannot be attributable to world market prices. When you increase levies, when you increase taxes, when you increase margins, and it results in almost 13% rise in petroleum products, that cannot be as a result of world market prices. At this juncture, let me set this record straight. For the record, Ghana is a net exporter of crude oil to the tune of almost $1 billion. So the question is, when you are a net exporter of petroleum products and the prices go up, must you suffer for that?
He also lamented that the depreciation of the cedi has also been a major factor contributing to the recent hike in fuel prices.
The minority has equally taken notice of the lame but flimsy excuse from government officials and its communicators that they cannot do much to cushion Ghanaians because, in their own words, they do not control the world market price of crude. What they have conveniently failed to inform Ghanaians is that the devaluation and depreciation of the cedi is a major contributor to these astronomical increments. We wish to state emphatically that the minority completely and flatly rejects these lame excuses from government. The question we want to ask at this juncture is, since when did the current MPP administration, led by President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, realize that government has no control over world market prices?
The group is therefore calling for a review of
the minority taking cognizance of the
Well, many thanks to you for staying with us. You're still watching AM Ghana here on Adoatv Television. Glad how we have impacted your day from the beginning of 6 a.m. up until now. We're still discussing, and we just finished talking. In fact, we did not exhaust all matters on the ban on Abubuya, but at least we've touched on some areas, and my two reps, my two guests in the studio who are representing their political parties have all agreed that indeed these aboboya on our highways need to be regulated. And they even went ahead to proffer some further solutions and how we can also tune our mind to see the good in this initiative. Let's move away from that. The aboboyas that are applying highways, amongst other things, yes, these are jobs, but once they are banned from the highways, they are not going to lose their jobs entirely as there are provisions. But speaking about jobs, recently we saw large queues, long queues at the Ghana National Fire Service training center here in Accra, and also at the Elwak Stadium, those who were seeking to join the immigration service also there. The concerns are many. This is also coming in a time where the finance minister has indicated that government payroll is full. So I don't know. If government payroll is full, how are all of these people also amassing to join in? Or perhaps provision has been made for them. The concerns go beyond government's payroll. It goes into the modus operandi and the purchase of forms and the disqualifications, and it's a whole lot. I believe that you guys have seen. Anyways, welcome back from the break. I believe that you guys have seen this. Okay, before we go into the conversation, so the video you watched before we just came back into the studio was Honorable John Abu Jinapor, who was speaking on behalf of the minority in Parliament as they are calling for a reduction of fuel prices. And you know that recently some petroleum prices saw a hike, which is also translated into some increment in fuel prices at our pumps. This also goes to translate into increments in transportation fares in some sectors. Well, if you would join us tonight on PM Ghana, where I would be hosting again, we'll be speaking on this very matter. So this is just a teaser for you. Do join us tonight at 7:15 p.m. Right here on Adoatv, and we'll wade into that. Now, gentlemen, welcome back from the break. Now, you've observed, and I believe that it bothers you, I mean, both of you, the nature of youth, seeking employment in the country. And this has manifested in recently the Ghana Police Service received clearance to recruit about 200,000 personnel, which saw the masses over there. Now we are seeing same for immigration. We saw some same for the military as well not long ago. And then now fire service and the immigration service. When you see these things, what comes into your mind, Mr. Jukache?
Thank you. This issue, my brother, it saddened my heart, and it's pathetic as well. That one, the finance minister coming out to inform we the youth in this country that the government payroll is full and that they cannot employ any further. What comes to mind is, if government payroll is full, what then is the next alternative? That is the reason why we voted the government into power. Yes, if you look at the private sector, and I keep saying this everywhere I go to, the primary aim of the private sector is not to employ, is to maximize profit, or is to make profit. In line or in course to achieve that, people has to be employed. So if a private company gets the chance, it can reduce its workers to the barest minimum to save cost. So we cannot say that a private company has to employ graduates and citizens so that will cut the employment deficit that we have.
Knows that. That's why he asked that.
Yes,
they
so
take up entrepreneurship rather.
Good. Even with the entrepreneurship, that's right. That all those people falls under the private, because it's not government that is going to go into the entrepreneurship. It's individual businesses. This is something, unless otherwise, someone wants to just try to lose sense of consciousness and intelligence on determining this issue. Private companies do not put at the back of their mind that the reason why I'm going to establish this company is to employ this number of people. No. They just want to maximize profit.
That is well established.
Good. 2, the government of the day, your payroll is full. It shows how incompetent you as a government you are. Because one of the main reasons why the MPP probably had gone through the election, and some Ghanaians.
I'm finding it difficult to, merge that with data that is available.
Yes.
Data that is available has shown the hike or the, steep rise of unemployment during the NDC era. Now, the Akufo-Addo era has, dropped down that curve, also steeply. And we've seen, a reduction in unemployment. But if you say that the fact that government payroll is full shows the, what word did you use? I don't want to.
Incompetent.
It's incompetent.
Sure.
Then I beg to call for more explanation on that.
Yes. At the end of the day, the government of the day coming out to tell Ghanaians that we cannot create jobs and there are no jobs and we cannot employ people.
That's not what he said.
Not employing people
he
means
said they
what?
Cannot create jobs.
Yes.
But you agree with me that they have created jobs.
You see, let me tell you.
One district, one factory. NAPCO.
I know.
So have you. They have created employment to some extent. That is why it is full.
You see, let me tell you this. There are issues that when we are discussing, let us be so much straightforward and specific. If a government comes to power, and when we come to power, and I come here to communicate again, just listen carefully to what I'll say at that time too. I'm sure he will be monitoring me. He will even tell you that Macklin said these things some years back.
Okay.
You see, I always tell my colleagues, even in the end, they say that military, let's say security services, the health sector, the teaching sector, are not places where a government to beat their chest that we have created employment.
Why?
Those are systems that are in place all the time, whether you like or not, provided personnel are needed. We need to put people there to serve.
Okay.
What you have to do is that this is the system that is in place. You just have to expand those infrastructures. Let's say if you build a new hospital, you by all means employ more people in that sector. But if you are not expanding those infrastructures, how do you employ people in addition? The most trumpeted 1DF and those slogans that they sang and they are still singing, if those things truly is the direct replica, or it is translating, or it is reflecting the reality, we shouldn't be having this large number of unemployed people still on the street of Ghana. 2, the minister telling us to go into entrepreneurship under his management and the economic management.
Wouldn't it have been worse?
Wouldn't it have been worse?
Have been worse. I mean, if we followed in that trend of the NDC, that is one of the reasons why the people voted you out.
So I'll get there.
Okay, let's get there.
One it wouldn't have been better if the finance minister and his weak management team agreed that taxation is too high and entrepreneurship may not be able to be flexible to go into. Inflation is high, interest rate is high, and even the worst of it all is the exchange rate.
Okay. So you are citing all of these. Okay, make your point.
Good.
Make your point before I come in.
All these items are items that would deter or welcome individuals into the entrepreneurial segment in the country.
Yes. Then, so it means that the majority of Ghanaians are not venturing into entrepreneurship because of all of these factors that you've mentioned.
The macroeconomic system that is not viable.
Right.
For
So,
them to
so
move
that
into
also
that.
translates into many of them wanting to enroll in the government sector, which is why we are seeing, like the pictures on the screen right now, masses of people. And it is sad because when you drive way past the Elwak stadium, you will go on and on and on and on and on, and you will still find people in queue. This is the indication of the reality of the grounds. So I am happy that you've touched on those macroeconomic factors, the exchange rates, the interest rates, taxes, yes, and all of these things that do not really make the business environment conducive, especially for young or perhaps upcoming businesses. But then, our concern is more about, you know, the recruitment process.
Sure.
And the masses that we are seeing. Certainly, there is no doubt, and it cannot be argued, that the masses that we are seeing is as a result of unemployment. That's the straight result.
That is it.
That is a straight result. And we cannot expect anything less in a country where unemployment is at its current state. All right? And you say, when you see this, what comes into mind? It saddens you.
It saddens me, not because I'm an MPP, I'm an NDC, and he's an
Have you crossed campus?
Today you've mentioned MPP.
It's okay, it's okay.
I'll give you the forms to apply right now. And then.
That would be the worst decision I would have taken in my entire life.
Right.
Taking a form from MPP to be a member of the MPP.
Okay.
We welcome you.
I cannot enjoy any right in that party.
Okay.
Let me come back to serious issues. You see what I am seeing there? My brother, even the system itself, even US, there is a cut-off number of the number of people that are supposed to go into the Marines, into the military, into this.
A cut-off of what?
Number.
No,
number. I mean like the total number of people that you put into the police service. You cannot say you want 2 million Ghanaians to be police in a country. You can't have a police service that is 3 million to guide 100,000 people.
Okay.
You get it? Certainly. So even whether we like it or not, if they are able to employ or take some Ghanaians, they can only take to a limited number.
Right.
That will guarantee them to be able to be operational and effective in their work.
Is there any such law in the country?
That
strategically,
yeah,
you know, indicates the number of the population that should serve in these areas. I think that would have brought a clear understanding as to why some of these sectors can no longer
yes
employ.
So you give me a little chance, let me and then you get where I'm going to. So one of the failures of governments, probably can be governments or governments, of which Akufo-Addo is the one in power and he's the one I can speak to.
Yes.
Is that one, there is no clear cut of the total number of people who are supposed to be taken into the system. These Ghanaians, young guys, young girls who are not working, some of them, their parents have to even go and borrow 100 cedis to buy form. This is fraud at the side of the agencies or the institutions. You publish this and more than 200,000 people will purchase form. You only pick, is it 3,000 or 5,000 of them? You know from the onset in your boardrooms that the only number we need or needed is 5,000. So what is the essence of selling 200,000 forms?
Is it about the sale of forms or the numbers that are churned out? Because for me, I think that in recruitment processes, it is just right that you open the doors to those who feel that they qualify, and then screening processes would pick the best out of the lot, because these are services, and if you are going to be paid for your services, we need those who are coming out with the best. And so for me, that is the role or essence of recruitment. But as to selling,
yeah, but the forms were sold.
Yes, so I'm asking
that is
if
one.
it's about the sales, because you mentioned that parents have to borrow money, or it's about the numbers that are churned, the number of forms that are churned out, that translates into the number of people.
It is the number of forms that you put out there. Secondly,
why is it wrong?
No, let's be realistic here. When you are purchasing form to go into the military, the requirements, most at times the requirements are just the surface ones of your passing, your BC, your SSC, and all those things. But did you listen to Joy News video that they played? Was a lady was rejected based on height, another one was rejected based on bleaching, and another. So all those things are not even known to the people who are even purchasing the forms.
Are you sure they are not known to them?
You think I will pick a form and read and know that at this height I will not be picked? Then I'll go ahead and still purchase the form.
Because I know that when when you are filling the form, you are supposed to indicate your height over there. There is a reason why you indicate your height.
Yes, but it is not stated that if you are below this, it is not. You are not going to be taken.
I told one for somebody prison.
No,
and it's there.
See,
exactly.
Automatically, the system will reject you.
So how did they pass through that? They are. Do you know? Did you see the video where at that place?
I think perhaps some people
lied.
Yes, of course.
Some lie. I don't want to base on lie. Some people are ignorant about how to measure their heights. You know, units vary. You could buy an inch tape that you would think is perhaps indicating feet, and some are not able to convert the units. And so exactly. And so these things sometimes they cause genuine technical ignorance issues. And so somebody may be aware that yes, if I'm not above, but how do you tell if you don't understand even the units of measurement?
Good. If that is the case, then I'm saying that doesn't mean that selling 100,000 forms, once you know that you can 200,000 plus, but you know that the only number you want is 5,000.
If you are a CEO and you are going to employ, you want 10 people to employ, would you sell only 10 forms such that out of the 10, you would conduct an aptitude test and realize that only 1 or 2?
The connection that maybe you are not getting for me is that if I'm employing people, I don't sell forms.
I mean, you
people, so there is sale of form.
So my point is that
there is a sale of form.
So I'm asking if your concern is about the sale.
It's about the sale of the form.
The numbers that are churned out, the number of forms. Let's assume the forms were not sealed, right? And
then the argument will be different.
Okay, so that is why I want to find out.
Yes, then the argument will be different. The sale of the forms.
Right.
It's something that one. My problem is you are selling these forms, but you know, say, at the end of the day, these are the number. So it is just deliberate. That is the word I'll use. It's just deliberate.
So you would have had no problem if the forms were churned out, but were not.
If they were free, I don't have problem with it.
Okay.
Because there's small money that somebody can use to set up KK business at the roadside is what he will use to buy that form. So I just feel pity. I become piteous towards such persons, and the system has to look at that. The next item here is...
I'll come back so that you speak on the next item. I wanted, our initial concerns about this. So let me speak to Mr. Amo. Mr. Amo, so this comes as a very great concern, and I think that it poses some level of challenge for, your party that is in power, considering all the initiatives that have been put in place. NABCO, talking about the employment initiatives, NABCO, one district, one factory, planting for food and jobs, a whole lot. Yeah. But we still find these problems. That's not to say that your party can do everything, all right? But how alarmed are you when you realize that upon all the initiatives, These are the numbers of people thronging in just to be recruited. What comes into mind?
Okay. Thank you very much, bro. When you look at the issue of unemployment in this country, it has become a threat. In fact, almost every government comes, and then it's like a wound we are trying to heal, but it's always up and down because we have our universities turning out almost 50,000 students graduating every year. Now, if we want to really solve this problem, we will have to go back and tackle some very, very fundamental issues in our education sector. The kind of courses we read. Of course, the kind of courses we read.
Certainly.
Trust me, if I knew that where I am now, the information I have now, if I had that before going to university, maybe I would have done what I was doing now. Earlier.
And by now you would have been a big man.
Seriously. You go and see people.
You're a big man.
Oh, hopefully. You can see people sitting in offices and just, it's not like they have some qualifications that you don't have. It's just because they were informed right, they made the right choices on what course they are going out there to study. So when they came out there, you see young boys earning 10,000 Ghana cedis in this country, 8,000, 7,000. My branch manager, if he sits here, you think I'm older than him, and he's earning a lot. You understand? Okay, that put aside, the issue of unemployment does not really reflect, and it's not a bad thing with this government because we've had the record, and the record is still there. We've had the record. We have 6 point something under the NDC. If you really, and I've always said this, if any Ghanaian is interested in the progress of this country, let's please continue. I'm not doing propaganda. This is an earnest truth from my heart. Let's continue to keep the MPP in power. Look, if you check the unemployment record.
Are you saying this to Ghanaians?
I'm saying this to Ghanaians.
Is it not the same administration that is saying that government payroll is full?
I'm coming. And
please, when you look at...
I'm only laying a premise. Let me finish.
No,
you understand
I'm asking because you are laying it down. You
so,
got yourself.
Unless I'm done. I'm bringing myself and I'm bold at it.
All right.
This is the reason why I'm saying. If you check the unemployment record and how Kufuor came to meet it and the record of Kufuor and how the late Atameos came to pick it and how he handed it over when he left and then John Mahama came, how it went up again, and how under Akufo-Addo, please, 1 + 1 is 2. It's not 10. We know 1 + 1 is 2. And if 1 + 1 is 2, from the record, NPP on issues of employment has done very, 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 very well. We are not saying that we have zeroed on employment.
Yes.
We are climbing and we are showing progress. How do we measure progress? We came to inherit a 5 point something. They did 6 point something in around 2015. 6.53, one of the highest. We later came to and we have reduced it to 4.54. You understand? And we are still working on it. Government is putting in place policies that will help solve this unemployment issues, like the 1D1F you mentioned, planting for food and jobs and all those things. Well, this shows that this government has demonstrated enough. Look at the ambulance services. The ambulance service. This is things that were not there. We brought them and created jobs. You created jobs. People were employed. People went for training. I know somebody who is able to marry through this job that he's doing. Now he has a family. So please, when it comes to job creation and how to do it, the record is there. Anybody can just take their phone, Google and search the record, and they will know. Right. Now go back to the people who bought the forms and the numbers. The numbers necessarily does not mean that they are sitting home idle. Trust me. Maybe at that point, and it's a fact, I know people who are doing other jobs who also applied. In your organization, maybe they are not paying you so well, but you are working. You understand? Everybody wants a good paying job. You understand? So I can be having something to do now. But in the meantime, when I see a better opportunity, but we are in organizations and can still apply and go for interviews while we are still working. Because we hope that wherever we are going to work will give us a better benefit than where we are. You understand? That is the nature of employment. So seeing videos of a lot of people does not mean everybody is unemployed. That is, unless you want to tell me that it should be backed by research.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people who applied, who are working in different organizations that I know. but they've applied because maybe they want a better place than where they are. So seeing the people does not necessarily mean that government is incompetent.
It tells that perhaps people are not, gainfully employed in a way. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Then fast forward, he did mention that finance minister making such a statement that the government's payroll is full. In fact, in 2016, His Excellency John Mahama, at the graduation of students in UMAT, stood in front of the graduates and told them that no, but we don't have jobs for you. He told you he said it in 2016. You see, this is what that means that since former President Mahama has admitted at UMAT a graduation ceremony that the government's payroll was full. Finance minister is also telling you this now. It tells you that they all are on one level and we've agreed. Now, what's the way forward? What is the plan of a government to help solve this problem? It's still a problem. How are we solving it? That is where we want to create we know and believe that private sector is the engine of growth. So when we are able to equip and help private sector set up in this country, have you visited any of these factories under the 1D1? I have visited one. And my brother, you'll be surprised the number of young children who would have been on the street by working there. And you see,
child labor?
No. I'm saying
you are citing instances of child labor.
No, I'm not saying. I'm talking about youth.
Okay, you say young children. So it's
I'm saying Ghanaian people. Human beings who are in the category of working years, and they are working in these factories. Right. Not necessarily the accountant who completed the university, because even if the organization will pick, they only pick one accountant. They'll pick one auditor. They'll pick this, and then out of the 50,000 people, they only pick one person. But that university graduate would not want to come and do the what do you call it? The packing of staffs and all. We don't want to do that. So we want a job that is fitting him. Granted, that person is even in that company, and there's an opportunity for him to go and apply for immigrations or prisons. He will go and apply, and you see them there. So it does not really reflect that government has not done anything on job. Okay. Government has created a lot of jobs.
I'm not saying that.
I'm only addressing him, and that government is not necessarily incompetent just because you see a lot of people there. Right. You didn't have that record because you went to IMF, and the conditionality was not for you to even employ. Okay. So we have done that. Okay. And then he also mentioned that teaching and all those things are not things that government should even boast about. No, now look at when free SHS started. We know there were already teachers, but government through this program, policy. That is why policy matters. A policy of government, free senior high school, has added additional 67,000 teachers to the already numbers that we had. You understand? So if you didn't have that idea and that dream to want to create those opportunities, and somebody has done that, give the credit to the person. Granted, Akufo-Addo didn't come, and then President Akufo-Addo didn't come and create this free SHS. That 67,000 will still have been added to the number of people who are seeking jobs now. You understand? It's about policy, and policies. When you compare the two parties, please, the records are there for us to see. Okay. So policies create jobs.
All right. Let me announce the opening of the phone lines. Our viewers are watching, and I understand that most of them have already tried calling. So viewers, the phone lines are activated. If you want to call and share your concerns about the topics that we've spoken about, we've spoken about the intended ban on tricycles on our highways and the response or the retaliation that came from the Honorable Abuja. We are now speaking on the unemployment and the recent recruitment we're seeing in the Ghana National Fire Service and the Ghana Immigration Service. If you have a concern in any of these topics, you can call us and share so that we'll air them for you. The number is at the base of your TV set. Remember to reduce the volume of your TV set when you call. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Abuja.
Mr. Joker.
Sorry.
This one they are giving me Abuja.
I beg you. Now, Mr. Abuja,
yeah.
We've spoken earlier, I mean, myself and Sam, my co-host, about the process that you wanted to touch on. Now, we are used to the process of sale of forms where people, buy and then... Now, those who get in there, the question is that, are they going in there to seek for jobs? Any job that will come by, especially if it is better than where they were. Or they're going in there to serve. Because if they are going to be paid with state or the taxpayers' money, we want also to look at quality of people. What would you make of this?
Good. I never said that teaching services and those things are not the means to employ.
Okay.
I
Kindly,
said.
kindly hold on.
I
Alex is calling us. Alex is calling us from Cape Coast. Hold on to that. We'll come back. Alex, good morning. Hello? All right, we'll try and connect to Bra Alex later on.
I said that those are structural systems that whether we like it or not, they will have to get people.
I'm sure I'm making a point that
that is what
I said. Are there already. But it's through a government policy that has gotten those numbers now.
Number two, these numbers that he's causing, we all have the numbers when it comes to those sites. And I wouldn't like to go there.
Well,
Number three, doesn't mean the NDC has never employed nurses or teachers before. Is that what you seek to
is it
say?
after IMF, post IMF, or which one?
No, like, you want to say that in the history of our government, we've never employed nurses and teachers? Is that what you are telling Ghanaians?
You say you have the numbers. Let's compare numbers.
No, is that what you are telling Ghanaians?
That's not where we want to go.
Now, secondly, the same free SHS that you are bragging off with, don't forget that most of the teachers that you employ are working and teaching in the E-blocks. Let me come back to your question now.
Oh, come on.
How many? Let me come. Can I address your question?
No, if you gladly act that, how many have you continued and commissioned as well? Let's
we can't go there because
so let's not go there.
We can't go there. No, we can't go there.
We have done over 30.
We are telling you to expand infrastructure.
Right.
You see?
Can we get to Alex now? Hello. Okay. All right. We lost him. You can still try to call.
So the system itself of this sales of form, and whether or not when you are employed by government, you are going there to offer, or you are just going there of what you get. It's a very topical and important thing that we have to discuss because it is happening.
Yes.
If you look into our services, you will know that these things are playing out squarely.
The attitude.
Good. But I have to admit that the Ghanaian system itself, there is a structural failure. You know why? Go to GAPOHA, that is Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. My first degree is in maritime studies, so that is my industry, and that is why I can go into.
And you are here.
That's my first. I communicate doesn't mean, but when it is time,
it's the same thing,
right?
No,
no. Hello, Alex. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Fine morning.
All right, Alex, go on with your comments, please.
I think my brother should get something.
Alex, come again. We didn't get that.
I said I don't know their names, so I can't just indicate.
Okay, you just describe. We'll get it.
Yeah, the one with the long place and basically.
Okay.
Now.
Right.
I want you to know that. What do you call we were on IMF, and they should get to know this. Or when we were on IMF, we couldn't even employ anybody, even not a single soul. So all these people are in the house. So we shouldn't put much pressure on the government.
Okay.
I myself am working, but I still apply for it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm working.
Right.
I just applied for. So it doesn't mean I'm not working.
Okay.
Or there is unemployment.
All right, but for a better employment, you applied.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Well, Alex, thank you very much for highlighting this. We are grateful. Okay. Right. Those who, if you also want to call, you can call us. The number is right there at the base of your TV set. Alex is saying. So Alex is
I heard him. I heard him carefully.
And I think it may be one of those factors.
Yes.
A lot of people may have.
Yes.
You see, I get it. The reason I didn't want to go into that part is that even though we were but when we were in power and IMF laid embargo on employment.
IMF didn't leave.
What happened?
You went to IMF.
Allah.
No, but when we went to IMF,
it was
but IMF gave.
It is not like the NDC started.
No, they
gave.
So
I don't want to distract the program.
Let me come.
He's being smart with
no, we went there after our applications and everything. The rules that you have to apply for the engagement of whatever you went in will be determined by IMF.
Yes, of course.
So IMF laid that
but
rule.
you are aware.
He laid the rule.
Who led the NDC strike?
Now let me tell you that even though we didn't employ anybody, the good and the infrastructures that you are coming to enjoy with your government, the establishment that we put in place, is what is giving you the ability to also come and employ. Unless otherwise you want to tell me that government is not continuous. Unless you want to tell me.
On paper,
are you getting it?
It's a consumer
No,
process,
but when we were not when people were not employed,
I fear to say that.
You see, are you aware that yes, you are employing, but even if you go to IMF and take money, it's for consumption. There is no production. Is that wise?
Most of the governments,
as with the monies that Akufo-Addo and Bawumia-led administration are borrowing, 90% of it is for consumption.
Right.
And Mahama's time, good, granted. Those monies came and we had infrastructure development and growth.
We have a caller, Mohammed from the Northern region. Mohammed, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Mohammed, your concerns quickly.
Yes, please. Actually, I want to contribute on the issue of the security series.
Sure, go ahead.
In fact, selling the phones was a failure to the part of those in charge.
Right.
Because we have ordinary Ghanaians who are not employed, yet the phones were sold to them.
Yes.
Imagine an unemployed graduate who cannot get 3 square meters to eat, and yet it's been asked to buy a phone in order to be recruited in that field. So for that one, I blame them a lot.
Right.
Another issue is that they haven't organized the screening very well, because when you go to Tamal Stadium, immigration is happening there. There are no shifts for people to stand.
Yes.
They are standing in the hot sun. Imagine someone collapses there. Who will take the person to hospital?
Right.
So next time they should look at those things.
Thank you.
Before doing this. But my regards to my former SSC president, Mr. Benamo.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Former SRC president, I see. All right, Mohammed, thank you very much.
Probably we've crossed ways in handling offices in life. Let's come back to important issues here.
I see.
So I was arguing on, yes, we were not employing people, but we were expanding infrastructure and other things. We can point all items that the monies that we took has done, unless otherwise you want to close your eyes and decide not to drive through the right ways of Accra.
We are hard pressed with time.
Yes, so let me come back to my issue. Hold on. Don't give you your time, my good friend.
We are wasting time on
this. So there's a structural failure with the system itself. Yes. And I was on GPHA Gapoha issue. Now, you go to GPHA office and you see somebody who has psychology and is working in vessel planning department. Is that not failure in system itself? So even I was thinking, you see, when you go to Maritime University.
So it begins where he speaks about the educational system.
Yes. So when you go to Maritime University and you do nautical science, marine engineering, you join the cadets. And when you finish the cadet, going into the Ghana Navy is an automatic system with us there. So if you know you want to be in Ghana Navy, you just go to Regional Maritime University and you'll be prepared in that line.
I spoke about
so the selling of all these forms and other things would have been now sent back into the education or institution system. So the people are prepared psychologically, physically, and everything. You don't need to now pick somebody who has a psychology degree, train him manually 6 months and say you are a police officer, manage ammunition.
So that's the point. That's a very good point. But Mohammed spoke about 2 things. He spoke about the sale of forms, and then he also spoke about the venue.
The venue, very important.
Screening. It's true that they are going to have to go through some harsh training once they are picked. But those we are not picking, do they necessarily have to go through that all of this harshness?
You see, with this kind of, like you mentioned, the HR sector, where they have to weigh a lot of things to choose who they need. You understand? In every field, there's the kind of people they want. Exactly.
That is not disputed. We are saying that must people go through this hardship?
No, it can be better. No, but it can be better. In fact, these numbers are huge.
Yes.
Can be broken down to 200, 200, 200. And then in a split of a week, if there are 2,000 people there, it can be solved.
Exactly.
You text people, you guys 200, you are supposed to report today. We handle the 200. Tomorrow, the next, maybe you can even the names in alphabetical order can be arranged. Text messages sent to them. Come this day. If you don't come this day, you miss the opportunity.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, this.
Exactly.
I think all these things are things that the security agencies have to take into consideration.
Finally, because of time, milking people who, like Mohammed said, are not able to afford 3 square meals a day in the name of recruitment. I would take this as a form of suggestion from when he spoke about establishing institutions that people will have to go through once they qualify, they pass and qualify, they are enrolled in there. Than having to. Are we not robbing the people?
Well, I won't use that word because in the sense that I won't use the word robbing. Because mostly when you speak to these people, a lot of things go into the process of buying forms. Most of them.
Is it not the state that prints the form?
No. These organizations have their own IT people.
And they are state machineries.
Of course they are. But some of them, they need third-party involvement. I think one of them, is the immigration, they spoke to one of them, and he was talking about the servers and all, which was even outside their control. So they have to pay for it. I'm not justifying the reason why you have to take the money from them. We can come to a conclusion where we will decide.
I'm not arguing. I just want to suggest.
We can have a decision that as a government, we have recruits, and we have officers. You understand? Officers can use the processing my brother suggested, but recruits who will definitely go through.
Which means that the labor commission is also failing because they have to do the matching.
Many thanks to our viewers for watching. A big thank you to you, Mr. Amo, and a big thank you to you, Mr. Ajikache. Mr. Amo represents the NPP and Mr. Ajikache represents the NDC. My name is Reginald Paddy. I represent Adoatv AM Ghana. I'll see you in the evening on PM Ghana. Until then, have a lovely day. See you.